Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and bees of all ages, welcome back to the Corporate Esports Association League of Legends League. My name is PhiNick, joined on the desk today, as always, by the lovely Thousand Eyes. I have the anime sensor bar of light coming in from my window, but you look like you're not having any lighting issues this fine afternoon. How are you feeling?
I rarely do. I have my setup all nice and good.
This
That sounded a lot more like a call out than I expected it to, but here we are. No, I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited because we are in playoffs, I believe. So
And Facebook has selected Blue Side for game number 1, as they are the higher seed. So, yeah, we are in the playoffs. It's round 2 of the playoffs. Last week, Microsoft Wubzy beat Alexa Call My Jungler 2-1 in that best of 3 series. That was not streamed, but it is fun times. Senator We Run Vlads, which is the Facebook number 1 team, I believe, had a bye, and now we are into round 2 of the playoffs. This is the round of 32. No, round of 16. Yeah, round of 16. I can do math. It is the round of 16. Winner will go on to face the winner of Google Working From Home and Luglers. So either way, you're going to be up against a team that has had plenty of success. That Google number 1 squad, currently 2nd seed going in. And a little bit of history about these teams here. So on the blue side, of course, it is Facebook Senator We Run Vlads, which is the Facebook number 1 team. They are supporting the charity Water, which... Oh, sorry, that's Microsoft. Sorry, they're supporting Doctors Without Borders, also known as MSF. Pretty cool charity. They go ahead and help people with medical stuff in areas where otherwise doctors aren't able to go. So like war zones, impoverished nations, etc. Which is really, really cool. They are made up of people who work at Oculus, Instagram ads, and Messenger. And their name is based on the Senator We Run Ads meme. That's fun. Meanwhile, though, red side is Microsoft Wubzy, which was 2nd place last season to Google. Sorry, not to Google. Sorry, to Amazon. Excuse me. So definitely looking to continue that success going into this season or going into these playoffs. Their charity's Project Water, which helps provide communities that don't have access to water with water. And the team members work with Outlook devices and commerce. And we are just about ready to go for the picks and bans. What are we looking for from these players?
yeah, so ironically enough, both teams play Vlad in different positions. So watch this, and Chingo both play Vlad in the top lane and mid lane respectively. The AD carry position, obviously Jin is super strong right now. He is far and away the top AD carry, with Ezreal coming in at a pretty distant 2nd. The mid lane, we kind of have a lot of scaling or just kind of like supportive type of mid laners. And really the biggest thing is just jungles. There's 2 types of jungles right now. Lethality, which is probably the top type of jungle that you're going to be seeing. Some stuff like Kha'Zix, Graves, the Hecarim is not lethality, but also kind of up there as well. So you have all of that. And then you also have the heavy tank junglers like Amumu and Nunu, who, while nerfed, are still pretty strong on this patch.
Yeah, and on top of that, you also have the Sejuani as well as kind of risen in priority. And you have drain tanks have actually, we see a couple of those. Gore Drinker, very, very nice on Kayn. Obviously can go for lethality build with blue Kayn, but if it's red Kayn, it is going to be that drain tank Kayn, and it is very, very powerful right now. Rek'Sai also can have the option of going lethality if she wants, but can also go for more of that bruiser-oriented build. Most likely lethality, though, and I believe excuse me, I believe Podobi runs that one in addition to the Kazakhs. We are in a draft here. Of course, blue side is Senator. We run Vlads. Red side, Microsoft, Wubzy.
Yeah, those are both slight tongue twisters there. But yeah, we are now getting into the bans. I'll be interested actually to see if either the Vladimir or the Jhin are banned away, just because while neither team really plays Jhin terribly much, it is just kind of at that level where you kind of have to play it, or even just a solidly good Jhin will just completely destroy your team. A lot of focus actually on Watch This, which is surprising considering that is not who I was really kind of looking to see the pop off on for Microsoft, but it is going to be 2 top laners and the Kazakhs taken away there, as frankly is getting a lot of focus on the bans from Facebook. So
yeah, Kayn plus Zach being banned away, looking for one more ban.
Is it the Graves?
Is it the Graves? I mean, Kazakhs is already banned away.
Do we have Grave? Not
Nautilus. I mean, I think he's easily counterable here. Kale being picked up can go either onto OP Sad Boys or Chingo.
Yes. So that is probably OP Sad Boys. We have not seen Chingo play the Kale. Is a flex pick by definition. But yeah, OP Sad Boys will kind of play just whatever. Just looking through match history, you've got, the hard tanks like Cho'Gath and Ornn. You've got the Lucian, the Akali. Kale was listed there. But the Misfortune... Yeah, the Vayne. Well, we don't talk about the Vayne. The Misfortune now, though, coming through. And I think if you're not going to pick Jhin, Misfortune is probably your next best bet. She is another lethality abuser. If you can build Eclipse on a champion, that is probably the best item. And it is just super duper strong. That item is overtuned to heck. And there is the Rek'Sai coming through, like you mentioned, that can be either Bruiser or Lethality Rek'Sai. Both are okay. And Podobi has experience with both and will just manipulate the build based on what the team needs.
I mean, I'm going to assume because it's MF that it'll probably be Lethality Rek'Sai trying to focus towards that bottom side of the map. Ashe being picked up for Potato Shooter. Not too surprising. I expect a TK then, because Really Lost plays that with Potato Shooter quite often when Potato Shooter plays Ashe. And I think Ashe TK is a very safe lane against the MF, regardless of whatever support Silent J picks. We know Silent J likes playing towards those.
Nope.
No.
It is the Swain. There we go. All right, yeah. So you said the Tom Ketch, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like, I know that is a thing that Really Lost will play with the Ashe, but I don't see that happening here. And yeah, it is going to be that Swain support.
This is like a Silent J pick, though, if I remember correctly.
No, it is Really Lost. Really Lost was the one playing a lot of mage supports.
Yeah, that's right. Silent J was the one playing mostly enchanters.
Yeah, Silent J does,
and it was Silent J who played TK with Pandoria. By the way, I goofed that. It wouldn't have been a TK if we Really Lost anyway. Kled being picked up though into the Kale, I actually quite like it, because he doesn't have to build Grievous wounds.
Not just that, but also Kled in any kind of early melee matchup. Kled just absolutely dumpsters people with his violent tendencies. You have that up, you go for the QE, hit it, pull them in, pop them again, and just auto them down. And it is so hard to win any trade with that, especially if you're somebody who is as weak as Kale is early. This is actually really interesting though, because watch this generally does not play strong side top laners. So this is a slight bit of a move away from comfort. As we do see the bans coming through, Malzahar being taken away, and the Lilia as well. I'm surprised to see the Malzahar ban because it is not a super strong pick and not one that we saw from Swords.
I believe we may have seen that or similar.
This is
types
not
of
super prevalent, and it's not a super strong pick that I'd be worried about. The Victor, though, yeah, Victor is the best mid laner right now. If you can play Victor because he is very strong right now. And I'm actually kind of surprised that we went through the entire first phase there and did not get that picked up.
Okay, there's the TK for Silent J. That is the TK player. Really lost. She does not play TK. Silent J does. I apologize for that. MFTK, I mean, you're basically saying, all right, I'm going to wait for my Rek'Sai to gank. TK's there for the safety. You can't really get in onto a Swain with him. And Misfortune has no range of it. Wait.
Oh, wait, is this Swain mid? Oh, did we get baited?
I think we got baited. I love Swain mid. I play Swain mid. He is not a good mid laner right now.
I kind of thought about that, but I thought, no, there's no way we're getting Swain mid, especially when Really Lost is the Swain player. We did not see any Swain from Jingo.
So Ash Leona.
Skarner, let's go.
Brackern. Do not pick Seraphine for your mid laner. Swords.
Okay. So I actually really dislike this Leona pick though right now. I think this is the absolute one of the worst support picks you could have picked into the Tahm Kench.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, Swords. You don't want to.
Do it, Swords.
Okay, there we go. I would say Galio sucks into Swain. Like, really badly.
Yeah. I mean, the Cassiopeia is also going to not be terribly fun, but there is definitely more opportunity there for the Cassiopeia. I'm really interested actually in this Rek'Sai versus the Skarner, because that is going to be like, depending on the build, that can either go really well for Rek'Sai or really poorly for Rek'Sai, because Skarner in tankier, beefier matchups will win long term through the constant Q, the procs off of the sheen if that item is being built, and if Rek'Sai is getting beefy and not doing enough damage, Skarner will eat through the Rek'Sai. But if it is that lethality Rek'Sai that we talked about, that can actually just really obliterate the Skarner.
I mean, that plus the fact that you already have late game insurance from the Cassiopeia, I think like you only have one bruiser, one tank on your team. Like, I could see an argument for bruiser Rek'Sai, but it's the same thing, right? You have an AP bruiser in Swain, Skarner, who's kind of a bruiser, more the tankier side, and Leona, right? So lethality isn't going to scale late, but guess what does? Cassiopeia, who would just melt Leona, who would just melt Skarner late. So like, I could see an argument either way for the Rek'Sai build.
I personally would like to see the bruiser just because you need a little bit more frontline, I think. Tahm Kench does not want to be your frontline. He wants to stay back and keep the Cass and the Misfortune safe from any kind of Leona ult, etc. It's weird because their damage scales super well into the late game, but their actual tankiness does not. So it's a weird scaling type of composition where like if they get ahead early, that Rek'Sai and Kled, they're going to be beefy enough to make that work. But if they do not, it is going to still be a struggle in the late game if they miss position.
Well, especially when you're up against the scaling power you get from a Kale Ashe. Because Ashe is going to outscale the MF, Kale's going to outscale the Kled, Cassiopeia outscales Swain, and in fact, I don't like Swain in any part of this game. Traditionally, I think Swain's good in the Cassiopeia, but he has huge mana problems in the solo lanes right now. You are basically forced to go Leandries, which doesn't really synergize super well with his kit. Because this is new Leandries, not old Leandries. Just for the Lost chapter, and because of that, you're running into an issue where your dot, your ultimate, your ability to continually output damage in a team fight is stunted until you get to the demonic embrace. And to be honest, like even then, you still have mana problems as Swain right now. Even if you go for a tier, right? Like it's just it's not great.
Don't go
That's
for a
not
tier.
great.
No matter who you are, don't go for a tier right now. It's still
Yeah.
not a good item. No,
I mean,
I'm actually
it's kind of it kind of needed on Anivia, kind of needed on Cass right now, but
yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised that we haven't seen a little bit more Ludens on the Swain, just because of the move speed bonus to get in range on stuff like the ultimate. But yeah, Leandries has been so key to Swain for so long, and that has been the mythic pretty much exclusively that Swain has been building. But yeah, I'm really interested in how this top lane is gonna go. Mid lane, I don't know enough about this matchup really, and I feel like it's really going to be dependent on how well these laners understand this matchup to see where that's going to go.
I think it depends on jungle pressure, to be honest. Like Skarner went for the Predator, which thank you so much for going Predator instead of Phase Rush in this matchup. I don't think I think when you have TK as a peeler, you just don't want to you don't want to risk going for Phase Rush and just not being able to get on the back line. So that's fun. And we are now into game. On the blue side, it is Facebook Senator. We run Vlads. OP Sad Boys in the top lane, Frankly in the jungle, Chingo in the mid lane, Potato Shooter in AD carry, and Really Lost in support.
And on the red side, we have Microsoft Wow Wow Wubzy. We have Watch This in the top lane. We have Potabi in the jungle. We have Swords in the mid lane, Pandoria on AD carry, and Silent J on support.
For a bit of a cheeky stack in the top river, OP Sad Boy is going to be ahead there. I believe Potabi actually saw this, but I might be wrong on the vision here. Really Lost. Moving in. It's going to be the late invade. Potabi should be seeing this, and the ward gets placed, and they're just going to yeet out, but it will be a trade of wards on red buff. So no real advantage either side on this level 1, unless Facebook can get a kill in this top river.
Yeah, showing the smart move of not just saying like, well, they're invading our jungle and not doing anything. They're getting the counter information, getting the vision on the opposing red buff, knowing that they can. So a good start already, just from a standpoint of, you know, looking at what the enemy team is doing and responding in turn.
It will be the blue buff start from both of these junglers. Obviously, Potabi's more so doing that to get onto the Kled early than to get the blue buff. Really, it's just, you know, CDR plus the level 2. Meanwhile, though, Skarner likes getting blue buff early due to the mana regen that it gives, and we'll be looking for the buff Grump buff, I would assume, for the Skarner. While the Rek'Sai, I assume, is also going to do the same thing. I don't expect full clear from either jungler, but I could be wrong. Rek'Sai actually got for... Yep, it's buff, Gromp buff.
Yeah, I think both junglers want to avoid that ward as much as possible to just stay invisible to the opposing laners as much as they can. Interestingly enough, we're seeing Grasp on the top lane Kayle here, just really wanting to try and stay alive and not die in these fights. So really interesting, because you don't generally see it. You usually see fleet footwork if you're trying to stay alive, but just wanting that extra beefiness to try and not die here.
Honestly, into a Kled lane, I'd rather take Conqueror over Fleet even, because Kled wants to take long trades.
Well, usually if you're not going to go like fleet footwork, you go for press the attack, just because your E-auto or your auto E-auto will get you that pretty quickly. But yeah, I'm actually really surprised to see the Grasp come through.
It's bad, and it gives you basically a second AP bruiser come late game. With the extra health stacking. I mean, it's like the same idea of taking it on Swain top. We see Topa coming into the mid lane. Flash gets the knock up, and Shingo is dead. Good early aggression coming in from Potabi to put Wubzy ahead. Brinkley towards the bottom side of the map, though. He's a Skarner pre-6, so I don't think he's gonna do too much. And he decides just to clear his farms. No. Well, very indecisive. He's going for the river gank.
Oh no! Yeah,
he doesn't have Predator boots. I don't see this working, but they get 2 flashes regardless. Zenith Blade forward. Rye lost alongside Silent J. Silent J gets the heal from his 80 carry, but Silent J will end up falling before being able to pop the gray health. Potato Shooter picks up the kill.
No, he did pop the gray health. He just popped it super early there and went down due to it there. So that will actually give the scuttle over there and just a good return gank there, getting the kill. So just 1-on-1 on the junglers here. And that is actually a huge win for the Skarner there, because if Rek'Sai starts getting ahead, it is a problem.
Meanwhile, OP Sad Boys being very sad top lane. Gets rid of Skarl, but you can see Kayle does not like this lane until she hits level 6. Gonna go ahead and take the back. I believe, yeah, 700 gold. Started with the Doran Shield. Gonna grab some boots. Gonna grab a dagger. Build in towards that Nashor's Tooth.
Nope, swaps it actually for the refillable.
I like the refillable more, to be honest.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You're not looking to fight.
I mean, I almost would have taken Darksteel refillable there over Boots refillable, personally. Just for the extra potion safety, but it's a matter of personal preference, I think.
Yeah, I think
help you get the Kled.
The boots help you stay away from Kled as much as possible, so.
And he opts not to TP back in the lane, and it looks like Watch This is going to do the same. So experience-wise, there won't be any real mis-experience on the Kayle.
Right, and looking just to keep that teleport up for those bot lane fights there's a lot of engage from the Leona and the Skarner there. So wants to keep that teleport as available as possible, and Kleb wants to keep that up just basically as a response to that. The Tahm Kench will be able to nullify a lot of those engages, but it's still not something you want to toy around with.
Yeah, Skarner has the Bomby Cinder, so probably going to go for the Sunfire Aegis here. I mean, Frostfire Gauntlet I think is actually all right.
No, it's going to be Chem Tank.
It's going to... Oh, Chem Tank. I forgot about Chem Tank.
Yeah.
I forgot that built out of Bombies. Yeah, no, that's really good with Predator Boots as well. And he has the Pred Boot.
Skarner in general just wants that item. It is a super good item. Oh, Potabi wants to go hard on this. No, they're not going to go for that, but they are going to make that roam bottom now.
They're going to get spotted on this ward, though.
No, they're not.
Oh, no, they go the other way. Frankly, going to be caught up, but he does miss the ultimate of the Cassiopeia, so going to be taken out very low by the ensuing shots. Chingo, though, it's a 2-man never move as Potato Shooter and Rylost are on the way. Silent J and Pandoria very close behind. Zenith Blade in onto Swords. Chingo gets the kill after the Q, and the Blast Cone onto Ponabi from OP Sad Boys. That was super clean. And Senator, we run Vlads. Get out 2-0.
Yeah, getting a little bit too aggressive there in a position where the Misfortune and the Tahm Kench could not stop the Leona Ashe from turning around and helping out there. It looked to be a good start there as the Cassiopeia Miasma was keeping Skarner in place and not letting him get out. But then the turnaround was there, the flash, or not the flash, but the getaway from Finkley, and the Swain route bought enough time for Ashe and Leona to turn that back around. OP Sad Boys getting something out of the teleport too, which was really, really big, because burning that teleport and not getting anything done with it would have been really depressing. But that does allow for the Seeker's Arm Guard to come through, and that will be a huge boon for OP Sad Boys to stay alive in that lane.
Yeah, and the Swain getting one of the kills there also evens him up in gold with Cassiopeia. He is down quite a bit in CS at the moment, unfortunately, and he has to take the back because he can't take the blue buff at the moment. But Part of the issue with Swain right now, really, really struggling for mana without Catalyst of Aeons existing in the game. Let's talk about how Catalyst of Aeons was such a good item on Swain. And how I miss it.
It's a good item on a lot of champions.
It was. Swain in particular. Swain and like Cho'Gath both like really liked it because they were both AP, essentially AP bruisers. Obviously, like such a thing is weird to say, but like most AP bruisers, right, have been building, or have been building, you know, Omnivamp along the lines of Mordekaiser, right, picking up the Riftmaker. However, those with mana have had issues. We see the flash knockup hit from Podobi, but Chingo's level 7.
No.
Ult from Cass is a swing and a miss, and Podobi ends up falling to the tower, and the Swain root swords, though, will be able to trade back, pops the barrier after flashing out from under tower. It'll be 1-for-1. Kill goes over to the Swain and the Cassiopeia, respectively.
Yeah, but that will be a wave crashing in under the tower, so ultimately... that does, I think, work out a little bit better for Swords there, as there's a dive happening.
Yeah, watch this! Ends up losing Skarl as the MF ultimate is a swing and a miss. The unultimate, though, gets onto the MF, really lost a bit far forward, but I think it's fine. Gets a stun down onto Pandoria. Silent J will be able to get the tongue lash out, pop the gray health. He will stay alive just barely to Potato Shooter. Meanwhile, watch this. Without his mount, is in trouble as Sad Boys is level 6. Really lost, though. From Podobi, there's the ultimate. Should be the kills. Potato Shooter tries to get out of the way. I think Podobi is going to at least force the flash, and frankly is there to keep Podobi from going even further. One kill going over to Wubzy as the top lane starts turning in Kale's favor now that she has the ranged auto attacks.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we're seeing the Bomby Cinder on the Kled there. Not what I really expected to see there. So it will be just kind of a tank Kled build. Not what I've seen from any Kleds that I know of, but will be the call here.
This a couple times. Really lost his up top. Does not have the solar flare, but he's going to be able to get a nice Zenith Blade right after Skarl comes back, stun under tower. Watch this. Gets a bear trap on the rope and grass procs from OP Sad Boys. No harm, no foul. Has really lost. Will be able to recall, and she's doing all right at the moment on Leona. 0, 1, and 2, but this is the way of Leo.
Yeah, nothing lost there because the opposing bot lane backed already. So there was nothing really in terms of like, oh, I'm giving up a lot of pressure on the bot side. I'm leaving my Ashe alone. No, she could just solo farm. There's no point in sitting there while she's farming. Roam up to the top side, try and get something done and see what you can do. Didn't entirely work out, but did force the Kled back. Kale will get a free back from the wave being pushed into the tower. And boom, really lost his back already before Silent J can even really try and pressure Potato Shooter off.
Yeah, and meanwhile in the mid lane, Leander's Torment going to be built up by Swords. I assume the same thing from the Swain, but he is 30 CS down at the moment. Despite being up a kill, is now behind 600 gold. This is just the strength of Cassiopeia and kind of the weakness of Swain going into effect. As well as some minor rank diffs, but really it's just, I mean, it's so easy to CS on Cass, and it's so hard to manage mana on Swain right now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is not going to get any better in the later portions of the game.
Oh, Dash Arrow on to the TK. TP being channeled here as Podobi goes into the back line. The suppression hits. Silent ends up getting taken down, but Potato Shooter will end up falling as well. Chingo now caught in the two-man stun. MF gonna pop the ultimate as Chingo goes into the demonic extension. He's gonna try to get onto Pandaria as Podobi falls to Frankly. It's a 2-4-1 in the bot lane overall as the TK is respawning.
Yeah, but the teleport burn for Chingo there does work out and is the correct call, but did force them to burn that just to keep. Oh no! It's about
Sad Boys though. He's TP'd down. He's just gonna die with the Kale ultimate, and Pandoria falls to Chingo. Now it becomes worth.
Where did he even come from? Because that wasn't even a teleport used. And that will be the first tower going down, as a lot of plates going for watch this. But the dragon, the extra kills, the just roam from OP Sad Boys to get that kill there. Sword's going to get that blue buff. But yeah, it is a huge win for OP Sad Boys specifically, and also for Chingo.
They're still ever so slightly behind in overall net worth, though.
Yeah, but I think, honestly, that's not going to be as important, because just with how much scaling they have in this Kayle, the Swain is also going to scale pretty effectively. This Kled is going to fall off super hard. The Rek'Sai going for the Bruiser build, so not going to be able to pop people as much in the late game.
Flash forward, though, into the ult from Leona, but it will be a dead potato shooter. Exhausted up is really lost, and the Rek'Sai ultimate to seal the deal. Double kill for Pandoria on the Misfortune. 2-1-1. Starting to get off the ground is the Wubzy team. We do see Stridebreaker coming in for the Rek'Sai, so that will be flash ult from the Skarner, but they're not going to be able to get the kill until watch this gets here. Now on Frankly, gets the damage in. Demonic Extension fully charged. Let's tries to get more damage on to watch this. Able to get the root through and the pullback. Watch this now. About to lose Skarl, but here comes Silent J. Does not bring Pandoria with him. So it will just be a 1-for-0 in the bot lane, unless Podobi has something to say about it. Digs in with the tunnel. Now looking for the knockup, but he's caught up by the Kayle. Will end up going into the TK as the Ashe comes in with the arrow. Silent J pops the Grey Health. He's able to stay alive just a little bit longer as the MF goes ahead and pops the bullet time. Can't get the damage onto Chingo in time. No one has fallen quite yet. Watch this. On the mount, going forward, he's going to be able to lose his Skarl. Kites back out of the way with the double arrow shotgun, but he goes down to Chingo.
And this fight just did not stop happening there, and that is what allowed Potato Shooter to get in here, force off the Misfortune there without that Ashe arrow and the Ashe showing up to force back Pandoria. That was going to be a huge Misfortune ult, but with the extra pressure brought by the bottom lane coming up, that did keep them from losing more in that fight, and they actually claim the kill onto the Kled there. Now has the Sunfire Aegis, but yeah, this is just not going to be a super strong Kled into the later portions of this game.
I mean, he opted for that when he went for the tank Kled anyway, so you're looking for triple front line, letting the Cassiopeia scale, I think is their plan. We were talking about how they don't really have too much of a front line. I think you can play these team fights with Kled, Rek'Sai up in the front, and then TK out on the backside. As far as your tanks are concerned, and if you're going, you know, double tank, single bruiser, I think it works. Because this says bruiser Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so there's a couple of things that actually work about this. One, Sunfire Aegis maximum immolate stacks. So once you do stack that up in a fight, if you get violent tendencies off, that's going to be a bunch of extra damage.
Oh. Well, the Impale goes onto the tank. He hasn't popped the Grey Health yet. Now he's going to do that, but he will end up falling. I mean, these are very good Impales from Frankly. Just constantly, every time it's up, he goes up and gets a pick. And that's exactly what you want from a Skarner pick, right? It doesn't really matter if the pick's onto the enemy support, because now you're forcing an imbalance, and you've done your job as the Bracker.
Yeah, so Silent J not having a great time there. You can see the QSS already bought there. That is the only real item of effect there. But yeah, the Kled with the max immolate stacks and violent tendencies, that will be a bunch of extra damage. However, it is not a peel tank. Like, it's not something like that Maokai. It's not something like the Malphite that sets up a lot of follow-up engage. Obviously, the Kled ult does well for getting people in, but it doesn't create that crowd control. It doesn't put people down so that your team can safely move up. It just creates an opportunity for them to run in fast.
And despite the fact that Facebook has the tempo advantage this game, the gold advantage is still firmly in Microsoft's favor. They are ahead in gold in every lane but mid, and mid's only down 200 gold. every position is up in gold, despite the fact that they're 4 kills behind and have a tempo disadvantage. Which is really kind of surprising when you look at the state of the game, but Pandoria getting engaged on. Here comes Putabee over the wall, though. They're able to set up for a 3-man ult from the MF, but she's stunned out of the way by Really Lost. Going back into the backline, but a 5-man castle hits, and he's able to get the kill onto the enemy. Support, watch this, out on the backside of the fight, caught out by Potato Shooter. It's a triple kill for the Cassiopeia, but it's 3 for 3 thus far as the Cassiopeia falls.
And that looked like it was going multiple ways back and forth there. The big MF ult canceled by the Leona ultimate there looked to be the big turning factor there, as Chingo and OP Sad Boys just were running away in that fight. But a massive turnaround from Swords with the Petrifying Gaze to turn that fight around, get a couple of kills back, bought enough time to turn that into just an even fight there, and that has to be the best that they can do right now. But that's scary because this Kayle is level 11. She's only going to be getting stronger. Swain does not scale terribly into the late game with his passive. There's so much scary that, like, if you're already losing fights, it is only going to get scarier and scarier later on in this game.
Still up in golds. They just need to push the advantage they have with the MF, I think.
Yeah, but think about, okay, so like, yes, they're up in gold, but think about, like, what is the effective value of that gold? Because the value of the gold on Kayle is a lot. If you have all your gold on Kayle, you're getting a lot more value out of each, you know, item on that Kayle than you are on the Kled.
Indeed, that is the case. Gnasher's Tooth completed. Now going into probably the Rift Maker, just sitting on the Seeker's Arm Guard at the moment. I would like to point out, because we haven't really talked about it that much, Leona ultimate into the Ashe ultimate.
That's
from Silent J. Frankly, looking for the Impale. Will be able to get it down onto the enemy AD carry, and that's going to be a shutdown onto the Ashe. What I was going to say is Dragon Control has gone 100% in Facebook Senator. We run Vlads' favor. They're on Soul Point right now for an Infernal Drake. So they're on triple stat Drakes at the moment. And this can be very, very dicey if Wubzy ends up getting picked like they just did.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the story of this game. It's been constant picks coming down. Tahm Kench cannot provide enough peel for everybody. As if it's not the Leona ultimate, it is the Ashe ultimate coming through. And you saw even just the QSS on the Ashe ultimate was not enough, because then Skarner comes in and there goes the Misfortune. And OP Sad Boys, level 13. Yeah, she needs the Misfortune needs the QSS. You can see they have nobody that can really counteract this Kayle push at this point. And it's getting worse and worse. You can see taking even just the jungle on the way out. We're going to hit this dragon fight, and it's going to be super hard for Microsoft to get into the dragon pit without really putting themselves in a bad spot to fight this Kayle.
That said, Microsoft not in the absolute worst position. The goal is even, but the stat Drakes do imbalance that quite a bit, as well as you said, the Kayle coming online very soon. Level 13, only 3 more to the level 16 spike that we all know and love to hate. Ashe, meanwhile, sitting on an Immortal Shield Bow and a Zeal. Utility 80 carries, ladies and gentlemen, and NBs of all ages. Eclipse on the MF, as well as a serrated Dirk and a pickaxe. As they set up around this Baron, I don't know if Microsoft's going to be able to NA Baron this, but I think they want to force a fight.
Now they're trying to force it in there, but it is not something that Facebook is going to just buy, and that's just giving time for the Kayle. Kayle does have the teleport, so they can turn this fight around.
It's the Melt Call with the Cassiopeia. They might be looking for a soft
Here comes
Baron
TP.
take with TP coming in from the Kayle. And it looks like it will be the soft Baron. They're looking for the fight. Shingo, a little bit forward, and Chris Valero goes on to watch this, but he ends up losing Skarl, but they get the ult onto the Cassiopeia through the MF ultimate. No one dies. Watch this now, stunned up by Really Lost. He will end up falling on the backside of the fight as he flashes out of the way, caught out by the Ash Volley, and Potato Shooter picks up the kill. It's 2-4-0, and that should be Baron for Senator. We run Vlads.
Yeah, and you can't make that kind of call without a hard tank. If you try and start the Baron without somebody who can just consistently tank that Baron damage, you are running a super hard risk of them just coming in and cleaning you up in the later portions. Potabee's going to go down.
I mean, you have to try to take the 50-50.
Yeah, it's just the unfortunate nature of where you're at. And yeah, the cleanup there was swift as there was not enough tank for that Baron call. And now with Potabee down for 20 seconds, Dragons spawning in 13. That should be the soul as well. And this game looks to be in just tatters for Microsoft right now, as they do not have a lot of options available to them.
And I wasn't a big fan of the Swain mid pick. I say as a Swain mid player, just due to his relative strength at the moment. But Chingo is making it work really, really well this game. Despite being down in farm to the Cassiopeia the entire time, he's kept even or head and gold, has the Demonic Embrace now, as well as a 10-stack Dark Seal. He's been making all these plays for his team. Potabee ends up going in, flashes forward. 2-man ultimate from the Cassiopeia gets countered by an ult from the Leo. Is really lost. Might be looking for something over the wall onto Potabee. Potabee, no. Gonna go ahead and get the knockup onto Leona. MF ultimate still available. Potabee ends up popping the ultimate onto Leona. Tries to get more damage onto Really Lost, but he can't get it in time. And now Pandoria in trouble. Falls, as well as Silent J on the support position. Swords now. That's flash out of the way. Chingo flash follow-up. Double kill for the Swain. As watch this gets stunned up by the Skarner. Pulled in by the Impale on a triple kill. Or, sorry, not by the Impale, sorry, by the Never Move and a triple kill for Chingo. So as I said, I don't think it's a very good pick right now, and I still play the pick. He's so clean on the Swain right now in these fights.
Yeah, and it's just been a lot of really good just jungle movement from Frankly, too, coming through. You saw Potabee getting a little bit too over-aggressive in that early portion, and Chingo able to follow up and get a lot of kills, followed by that teleport into the bot lane. Chingo able to make a lot out of what seemed to be a rough start there. And a fed Swain is always a problem, because he absolutely starts getting crazy very quickly, and you're seeing it get even worse as OP Sad Boys hitting that level 15 point. Gonna be hitting level 16 real soon, and at that point, it is almost assuredly game over.
I mean, it doesn't look like Microsoft's outlook is very good right now. Ultimate on a Silent J gets cleansed, as well as the Leo ultimate being a swing and a miss. So Enchanted Crystalero and Solar Flare are both down right now. Frankly, though, might be able to take advantage of the QSS usage from Silent J. TP being channeled on the backside. They're looking for it. Predator forward, as well as everything else in the Pale hits. That's going to be a dead misfortune. And it looks like they might just go for the end here.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
I think they actually can, even without Baron buff.
Yeah, absolutely could, but they're going to back off right now. Looking to just push this top side here. Play with the food a little bit, and yeah, still no QSS from this misfortune. And when you have a Skarner that can Predator chem tank onto you and just ruin your day, that is not what you want to see, frankly.
Ultimate from the cast is a swing and a miss. Kale gonna pop the ultimate on Frankly as he looks for swords. Will end up going back into the TK though. The swords gets caught up in the solar flare. Now, here comes the damage. Really Lost with the Zenith Blade. Gets the damage onto the Cassiopeia as Pandoria is able to trade that one back, but I don't think it'll be enough. Silent J is way too low. As is, watch this. Kingo goes legendary, deleting the MF off the face of the earth. It's 2-4-1, and Kale is level 16 now. That is GG. Senator We Run Vlads should be able to take this one out on this final push.
Senator We Run Vlads making it Senator We Won Vlads, as they are going to be taking down this first Nexus Tower, taking down the Tom Kench for extra gold. Here goes the Nexus, and game one will go over to Facebook as they finish off strongly in this first game.
Yeah, it started out with a pick. How did it end up like this? was only a pick. It was only a pick. Chingo, holy moly on the Swain.
Yeah, and like I do want to give a lot of credit to Chingo. I also want to give a lot of credit to Frankly as the look at the 15 assists with the 2 kills, a huge amount of early KP to get off the ground there. And when you're up against something like a Rek'Sai that has so much early pressure, to be able to do that so effectively is really, really good. Podobi not able to get like had a couple of really, really good starts. Like the first gank onto Chingo was very great, but then frankly able to counteract that with a gank on the bot side and the constant engage from Facebook's team, the Leona ultimate, the Ashe ultimate, the Skarner with the Predator and Chem Tank. Like there was too many opportunities for them to engage that Tom Kench could not stop it all. Even with that QSS, there was just not enough deterrence from that engage, despite the fact that they did have some.
Yeah, and on top of that, right? So Chingo played out of his mind, and we talk about this engage coming in from the center. We were on Vlad's comp, and I'm trying to think how exactly Microsoft Wubzy is going to adjust their draft going into the second game, right? I don't think the Kled pickup went the way they wanted. I think the MF was okay. I think the Rek'Sai pick actually did well early, just couldn't scale. So I think I'm looking towards the top side from Wubzy. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the issue is just Tom Kench with Misfortune is not a terribly great combination. You want something that can engage with this Misfortune. You want something that can play aggressive. Taking the Tom Kench, while it's like in theory a good idea, and it works really well if they only have a certain amount of engage. When you get into the like 2 or 3 levels of, engage potential, there's not enough that Tom Kench can do to keep those carries alive. And I think at that point you need to really look for something that is a little bit more like, okay, well, we're going to take the initiative on that rather than let you try and engage on us and turn it around.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I think with the Leona ultimate, I think that, or with the Leona up, the TK, I think was a mistake. Um, we'll see how they decide to do that this game. We are currently waiting on the teams as we have an AFK support player, but we're going to get in a draft very, very quickly here. So outside of what Microsoft can maybe change going into the second game, do we see anything changing from Facebook? Are they going to try to run the same type of team comp, or what do we expect?
Yeah, I mean, I think Facebook doesn't really have to change a whole lot. I think maybe, they could pick something that's a little bit less of a losing start because it seems like they have the ability to play with that initiative. I think, maybe something like while the Swain did really well, I'm not sure. I still don't know if I really like it. I think it's very risky. Swain, whether in support or in the mid lane, has to get ahead in order to be effective and falls super far off the face of the planet if it does not get ahead. So I'm still kind of scared to see it. And if it doesn't pop off again, then it just looks really bad. And I think that would mean that the Kale doesn't have the opportunity to get off the ground. I'd like to see something just a little bit more like standard aggressive from that mid lane position. And maybe then you can get something, you can run that Ashley on a bottom lane, because I think that was really key in setting up a lot of those fights. I don't know if those solo lanes are exactly, like what we'll see again. I think the jungle and bot lane, though, were really, really key, and you can just run those back and have everything work out exactly as planned.
Yeah, jungle and bot lane. I did like the Kale pick quite a bit as well. I think even though it kind of felt bad against the Kled early, it ended up doing extremely well into that mid game and later because the Kled didn't actually get a huge lead. A lot of that coming off of really good TP plays as well from this Facebook squad. OP Sad Boys and Ridley lost, or not Ridley lost, sorry, and Chingo just getting in behind Microsoft time and time again. That said, right, so we talk about the draft. Do we think anything's going to change band wise from either of these teams?
I don't think terribly much. I mean, it's entirely possible that you switch and take that Kale off the board. But I think leaving up that would end up leaving something up like the Kane or the Kha'Zix. Like there's so many things that could come through that frankly could try and pull out that I feel like you can't leave those things open. That's like too scary to leave that open. Because frankly was able to do super well on a pick that shouldn't have won in the early game and should have fallen behind really hard. I don't want to know what Frankly is able to do on a champion that is built to get ahead early.
Yeah, and we are just about ready to head into the draft. So let's see if they make these draft adaptations from Microsoft. Engage support, or if they want to play back, don't pick MF, right?
Or play something that has a little bit less reliance on stopping one single engage. Something that can survive, multiple types of engage. I know that, Silent J does play a lot of enchanters, so there is a lot of possibility for the disengage types of champions. You could see something like a Lulu. I think Lulu is pretty darn good at the moment, and having that polymorph when Skarner is trying to run at you, or polymorphing the Ashe as the Leona dives in, would have made a huge difference compared to this Tahm Kench that honestly Silent J didn't look too comfortable on. Oh, you saw the first death there. Silent J popped the gray health super early, and that is kind of what turned the snowball on in that bottom side.
Yeah, and you don't want to get snowballed on. If the enemy laner is
in League
Ashe.
of Legends, you don't want to get snowballed on.
I mean, yes. Unless you're a new, but then you just snowball onto people.
All right, where's
I
that
don't know where I was
disconnect
going with
button?
that one.
Where's that disconnect button?
We're in a draft. Kane gonna be the first ban from Wubzy. Understandably wanting Frankly off of comfort still. I don't know if they're gonna ban the Skarner. Here I think it's potentially a possibility, but I also think there was a mistake being made, and that TK was the only one with a there's a Swain ban. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so they are switching it up.
Yeah, but that Swain ban though, as you said, it does leave quite a bit of power potentially in that jungle. You leave Kha'Zix up or Graves. Either way, lethality abuser's still very good in the jungle. Frankly, looked very good on a tank. We can see how he works on those lethality conditions. Kha'Zix being a very good, solid pick for him. It will be the Zac banned away, and this does mean Kha'Zix is available for both junglers, and will be banned away by the side of Senator We Run Vlads. Not going to be able to first pick it, and it will be the
Salty
Kale
run back. Salty run back.
This. I mean, so Watch This and Swords, I believe, both play this pick.
Yeah, definitely more of a Swords pick. Watch This does not have as many games on it, but we do see the Ashe Skarner coming through once again. And yeah, I like, as much as it sucks, I think you do still have to go for the misfortune here if you're not going to play Jhin. I think Jhin would be the optimal pick here, but neither AD carry really has Jhin in their pick history. So if that is the case, I think misfortune is still the next best thing. I think you need to change the team around it, and I think the Kale is the better opportunity there. But Jarvan taken here, and Jarvan is not a champion that I have really seen since the item changes here. So
he's a bit fringe, but he's good in a Skarner.
Oh yeah,
I think that's why. Because obviously Skarner goes in, you just go ahead and hit the alt button on him, and then he can only impale you and not even back into the back into his
or
team.
If he does impale somebody, then you can just immediately lock him down and change where that team or where that Skarner is able to go. Taking the Tahm Kench again, and I'm a little bit sketchy about this. I really think, Silent J, just a lot of enchanters, and especially Yuumi. And while I don't think Yumi's in the best of spots right now, I think that would be a better. I think that is one of the things you could change and make a little bit different in this laning phase here, because the Tahm Kench just does not provide a whole lot. Oh, I'm just not super jazzed about this pick.
You know what I'm jazzed about? We're seeing Ashe Zyra, baby. Let's go.
2016 is calling.
2016 is look. I still have nostalgia for season 6. Liquid at Worlds with the brand support. You know, all that greatness. It was my first season of League of Legends. It was definitely a very special one. We had Tank Echo top lane. We had Aurelion Soul at MSI. The best performance NA has ever made at any international event. Defeating tournament favorite in the semifinals, and we have never gotten back to that point. Because yeah, that's unfortunate. Regardless, bans coming out. Misfortune and Xayah, as well as the Malphite, being banned away.
Yeah,
Malphite banned to me and Jax as well. Malphite banned to me says this Kale might actually be going towards mid lane, but the Jax says otherwise. So
no, I still think it is a mid lane Kale. The Xayah ban specifically is a target ban at Pandoria. That is one that she plays pretty
Morgana
pretty well
mid lane for Chingo.
Yeah. This is you. Man, that was the most deflated I have heard you in a long time.
I'm just like, you know what? They have picked double support in 2 games now. And I say this, even though we've had this argument on stream where I've said Swain is a mid laner, and you're like, no, he's a support. Like, still, they picked double support.
Okay. Like, it depends on how you're defining a support. If you're talking about a champion that is designed to be a support, then Swain would not be.
Zyra's technically not designed to be a support either.
Correct. But if we're talking about like, oh, a champion that has supportive aspects to their kit, like that is not what Swain would be. If you're talking about a champion that in the current meta is played in a supportive style, then Swain would be that.
I am so confused. They picked Xerath and Jace.
Is
this Kale bot lane?
Or it could be Jace bot lane, could be Xerath bot lane. Like,
none of them are picks that I've seen in Pandoria's match history. This is what?
Yeah, what? I don't know what this actually could be. I think it's the Xerath bot lane.
Getting picked in the top side.
Yeah, I think this is the Xerath bot lane.
It has to be Kale mid.
Yeah, it's Jace top. No. Okay, so it is Jace top because that's why they banned the Malphite. It is Kale mid, and then you have the Xerath in the bot lane. That is something that Pandoria has a little bit of experience on. Just looking through match history very quickly, very little bit of experience on that. So that is what it is going to be. It looks like, and they're actually.
Yeah, no, it's Jace top. They switched at the last minute. I'm like, hold up, don't do me like this, because Kale into Aurelia sucks.
I mean, Kale into everything sucks.
Yes, but Kale into Aurelia is like, even after level 6, sucks. Like, it's not even like, oh, like other melee matchups where it's like, oh, pre-level 6, it's bad, and then after level 6, it's fine. It's literally just like Aurelia dumpsters Kale at all stages of the game, except when Kale hits level 16. That said, so this is going to be Jason or Aurelia topside. I really like the Aurelia pickup. It's good into both Jace and Kale, and to be honest, like, OP Sad Boys played very well in that previous game on something that was a little bit less aggressive. So now with this additional aggression, right, we said OP Sad Boys plays everything. This is one of those cases where I think this can be, right, especially when you have low damage coming in from the Morgana and the Zyra, this can be a carry threat, right? You have a double strong side top lane for both these teams. You have junglers that Jarvan can get early ganks in, Skarner less so. And so I'm looking towards this top side and saying, all right, Bot lane, we know it's going to be Ashe Zyra favored. Mid lane, it's a wash. Top lane, I want to see jungle pressure from Poe to be top lane. I want to see Frankly go for the level 6 onto this Jace. And I want to see Watch This get in a position to carry this game. He wasn't in that position last game. I think on this Jace pick, it is even more sink or swim than the Kled. You can't opt into tank Jace. It's not a thing.
It is not. And yeah, just looking at this composition, it is a lot more siege focused on Microsoft. You have the Xerath and the Jace, a lot of poke there. You have the kill for the DPS, and the Jarvan and the Tahm Kench are really just more on peel duty. The Jarvan, obviously, we talked about the response to the Skarner can keep people from getting pulled away from the team. I don't think we're really going to be seeing a whole lot of straight up engage unless Microsoft gets ahead early. But it otherwise, you are just trying to keep people away from Jason Xerath while they poke down the rest of Facebook's team. The Zyra, the Morgana, like they basically don't have a lot of ways to sustain long siege attempts, and their wave clear is solid, but not anything absurdly incredible.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Zyra and Morgana both, if they can get ahead, can do quite a bit of damage. But assuming all things being even, there is basically no magic damage on this Facebook squad, which is good news for the TK because he can build into he can build into items that are more armor heavy.
Zyra will put out a good amount of magic damage regardless. That's just she's really good at that. But yeah, like overall, the Morgana, if not ahead, is not going to be a super significant portion. Now, this is going to be the W max for people who have not seen Morgana mid. You max the W in the mid lane, so the wave clear is okay, but it does still take a little bit of time to work through, and you're not
area
going to clear
it too. This is supportive.
Yeah, and it's not going to clear out the cannon waves terribly well. It's they can handle wave clear to a decent extent, but they're all squishy, so the poke is going to hurt. They don't have any sustain built into their kits, and they're not going to be building a whole. The Morgana might, but the Ashe not going to be building Blade of the Ruin King first anymore, so you're not going to have that inherent sustain. It's going to not be a good time if they get into a position where they're just constantly sieging against this Xerath and Jace.
Yeah. I honestly can see this game going either way. It really depends on, I think, junglers.
It depends on junglers, and it really depends on like early game skirmishes. And if we get into a fight early on like that, like we saw with Silent J getting caught out early, and that becomes a consistent thing, that's going to end very poorly. We saw Chingo go down early, but then the reaction to that was to play safer and give up a little more farm. Silent J went down early, and then the constant engage from the Leona and the Ashe really, really hurt Silent J as the game went further and further, and that is where that game really kind of went off the rails.
Yeah, I hope Silent J does better on this TK. I hope Watch This can snowball topside for Microsoft, if you are a Microsoft fan. I want game 3, so obviously I'm rooting for Microsoft here, but I think this one's a coin flip as far as like who wins off draft. I think Jarvan is a really solid pick, and the Skarner, I think it can turn team fights even without strong peel elsewhere, just because you can peel Skarner, and Skarner is kind of the big one that you need to peel.
Mm-hmm.
But we are into game. Microsoft Wubzy on the blue side. Facebook Senator, we run Vlads on the red side. And let's just jump into it. The words of Philip DeFranco.
Yeah, I also do like this Kale in response to the Skarner, because somebody gets Skarner pulled, even if you don't have the Jarvan to keep them from getting thrown further into the enemy team, you can just throw the Kale ult on and buy a lot of time so that single person is not going to get immediately blown up.
Yeah, and it will be the commencing stopwatch on the rune path from Chingo. with that inspiration secondary. This is very, very safe on this pick, which I wasn't expecting, right? After that game 1.
Okay. Like, stopwatch is actually super, super common on the Morgana. Not because you want to have the stopwatch for free. It's because you want the lower cooldown on the Zonias.
Well, we do see Root land onto Topa B. He's forced to flash out of the way, but that will be Flawless Duet taken by OP Sad Boys. Putting a little bit of advantage towards Watch This in lane. With Podobi missing the flash, it's not as bad as a laner losing it. And the level 1 now goes to Jace because OP Sad Boys took Flawless Duet and didn't get a kill off of it.
Yeah. Does hurt a little bit, but still. Podobi gonna be having a rough time without that flash. That does lower the gank potential in this early game. So no more flag drag flash type of plays. But still Jarvan at the end of the day.
Yeah. I don't think he's... Oh! This is big brain. Oh, you know how I said Kayle absolutely sucks into Aurelia?
Mm-hmm.
They lane swapped. They lane swapped the Aurelia into the mid lane.
That's why the Morg has teleport and the Aurelia has ignite.
That is so big brain. Like, actually, because Morgana, it's not gonna feel great into the Jace, but
no, you just put W down and walk away.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like you don't need to do much other than outpoke them. Plus, the fact that you can spell shield yourself against a Jarvan gank, this is just so bad. Now Swords on the level 2 from OP Sad Boys ends up winning the trade just barely, even though Conqueror procs. Yeah. PTA on Swords. I think because he was expecting to go up into the Morgana.
It's also just the more common one to run at this point. You do see the PTA more than you see the Fleet footwork. Also, even despite the fact that this is now the Aurelia in the mid lane, and that is not a fun time.
Forcing flash out of Chingo. So that's a QW start from Chingo. So the level 3 gank there makes a lot of sense. And doing that means that with a flashless Morgana, you can go easier regank on level 6 from Podobi. And try to get that Jace ahead. Because that is what you need. You need Jace to get ahead.
Yes. It's a good gank. Obviously, solo lane Morgana not going to take that E early. Just want that QW. But yeah, like I was saying, the mid lane Aurelia into the Kayle is still better than the top lane into the Kayle. Because Kayle still has the shorter lane now, will be able to play safe. Even if you get zoned off, it's not going to be as bad as being zoned off in that top side.
Yeah, but now, Hopi Sad Boys building up a farm advantage over Swords. As Frankly makes his way down south. And Microsoft has not spotted them. And look at this zoning from OP Sad Boys.
Yeah, but the Jarvan
might be looking for something, but directed camera shows a spot lane. Regardless, OP Sad Boys, though, has Flawless Duet available in a bit. Cutting down towards that bottom side of the map. Frankly is around. Looks for the turn. TP being channeled by Watch This. This Chingo is already rotated down. Meanwhile, Pandoria getting a Q down onto the Ashe bot side. And as was mentioned in chat, this is a pick Pandoria has pulled out in previous seasons of CEA. Obviously, we were working off OPGG. So, even though we were kind of surprised to see it, I think this is a bit interesting to see this kind of pick return. Potato Shooter very low. Here comes the Xerath W. Podobi's down, and Potato Shooter is flashless. He's looking for Really Lost instead, but Frankly's here. Gets the flash out of Really Lost. Podobi does not have flash for himself. Use the flag and drag flash forward. Gets the stun from the Skarner. TP being channeled. That will be first blood for Really Lost. Swords. Might be looking for follow-up damage, though, on Frankly. Gets some. Potato Shooter down to 100 health. Has to be very careful, but so does Pandoria. There will be a TP for nothing from Swords. As first blood goes over to Senator, we run Vlads.
Yeah, and all of those teleports burned and only one kill coming out. It is super close there as everybody getting super low. Pandoria and using the heal, Silent J with the gray health, barely staying alive in that fight, and just kept baiting each other back and forth for the junglers to come through. Unfortunately, Podobi did pay the price, and most importantly, because Podobi has only had a successful gank for the flash off of Chingo, that has meant that Frankly was able to farm a lot more. You can see the CS differential already coming through, and also the assist gold coming through. So once again, Frankly on a type of champ that should not be winning early, able to make that into a strength as Frankly is able to get ahead yet again.
Strength is a Dota stat, not a league stat.
I'm gonna look for that disconnect button again.
CEA Dota 2, you can watch that one as well as the League of Legends. Promoting everyone else here at CEA, in fact. Silent J just gonna go ahead and swallow up Pandoria as OP
Here comes OP.
down. Here comes Photo B! Forces the flash out with the flawless duet. Pandoria now flashless. And OP Sad Boys, 27 CS up.
While roaming.
While roaming. Grant you, that was because Swords TP down earlier, but even then, had the CS lead. And it's just the power of Aurelia into these kinds of matchups. You can zone people off wave, even ranged champions, you can zone off wave just due to the power that Flawless Duet Q gives you. Plus the fact that if you're very careful with your Ionian Fervor stacks, you can keep at least 3 stacks up at all time, and then when you're ready to go in, QQQ, 6 stacks go in, right? And that can be pretty insane.
Yeah, so that is OP Sad Boys with just a huge lead here as, frankly...
Silent J, very low. Frankly is here. TP, not available from anyone. And Frankly picks up the kill. Man, this early pressure from Skarner, not something we were expecting, but this does lead to an early dragon. Actually, it's a little bit late. 8 minutes. First Drake going to be the Mountain Drake. Feels nice on the Skarner early. Because he is level 6 now, he'll be able to get Predator and Pale ganks off. And Chingo now has flash back up, so that gank from Podobi basically became a non-issue topside.
Yeah, so overall, nothing ventured, or nothing gained through that gank, and frankly, able to make 2 things happen in that time period, get the Predator boots, and utilize them to success. Silent J going down, and now the smite going to be finished for both junglers. And
Sad Boys caught up in an ult from the Jarvan. Gonna pop the Ionian sorry, Vanguard's Edge, excuse me.
Chingo!
Regardless. Podobi though, caught up in the ult from the Morgana, has to flash. Sorry, I messed up. I almost called Vanguard's Edge Ionian Fervor, and that got to me there. I haven't seen Aurelia in so long. It's been a while.
Yeah, and that's actually a super important turnaround there. Getting the kill for Swords makes this lead in the mid lane so much less tragic there. As that extra gold will help out put Swords basically within 100 gold there of OP Sad Boys, despite the farm difference here. So big turnaround for Swords there, and that's really gonna get better and better as Swords is now ranged, level 7. So can play a little bit safer here.
I mean, the issue though is you look towards topside, Watch This has done nothing this game. And that is a big concern for Wubzy. They have about 5 minutes to get this Jarvan, or not the Jarvan, to get the Jace to a point where he's able to do anything before he begins falling off, right?
Yeah, I mean, you do still have the ability. Obviously, we talked about how well this team composition sieges, and as long as they can create those kinds of opportunities for their team, they're going to
Frankly,
be
though,
okay.
Predator on to watch this, gets the impale, bringing
Ooh.
him back down into Chingo. Kind of missed the Tormented Soil, though, but I think, frankly, we'll be able to get the kill anyway. Watch this. Very low, pops through the acceleration gate, hammer form, but Chingo still picks up the kill. Off Tormented Soil. Source now trading decently on OP Sad Boys. Aurelia not able to get the flawless duet off, but still, with the Jace down now, you gotta wonder, like, what has Watch This been doing all game? Trying to Crystalera bot side on a Silent J. Won't connect with anything more.
They got to be careful how
they from the Zyra. They're caught up in the Tangled Growth. Swallows the 80 carries. TP comes in from both top laners. Silent J now going to flash. Chingo's here with the ultimate. We'll be able to get the damage down on a Pandoria. Double kill for Chingo. As watch this now. Here on a really lost false, but so does Podobi. It's 3 for 1 thus far. Triple kill for the Morgana. I can't believe I'm saying that phrase even. Kale goes for the ult as the double kill comes in for watch this. And frankly is around, flash forward, gets the stun. Chingo is still here. The Vanguard's edge forward. Chingo's unstoppable. Unofficial quadra kill for this Morgana. 5-0 and 0. And that's a 4 for 1 in the bot lane. Senator, we run Vlads running away with this game right now.
Yeah, and they're going to look to try and dive this too.
Oh, they're looking for the unofficial Penta! No! OP Sad Boys.
Wait, people are alive. Timers.
Jay, though, going in with the Abyssal Voyage, frankly, does not have the impale for another few seconds. Root lands, though, from the Morgana. Frankly, going to try to cut out of the way, waiting for the impale to come back up. Swallowed up by the TK, though. Back under tower, frankly, will end up falling to Podobi. Overall, 4 for 2.
Don't like Podobi taking that, actually, because I think Pandoria really could have used that. Get this Xerath off the ground a little bit more, because Pandoria is really having a rough time in this bot side here.
Chingo with an unofficial quadra. And now going into Leandry's Torment.
Yeah, that's not a good time. Certainly do not enjoy that if you are watch this. But did get 2 kills. So will be a little bit better off. Right now, Silent J, though, a little bit far forward. They know that Silent J was around, but will just get out. Sword's still level 8, though. Has been level 8 for a while, and with KL, those levels are super important.
Frankly, might be a little bit too far forward. Has the impale available. Flag and drag into the back line. Frankly, caught up by the Tangled Growth. Frankly, ends up falling to Podobi. Potato Shooter now trying to cut out of the way. Gets caught up by the accelerated gated Jace Q. As Flawless Duet is a swing and a miss. Xerath gonna pop the ultimate, gets a kill on a Potato Shooter as Riot lost really, really low. Down to 100 health, and the Q gets it through the acceleration gate. Watch this! Says watch me! And they will be able to get their first dragon of the series. The Ocean Dragon Soul will be once again infernal.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that is really good about this composition. The range potential here. There is so much ability to just keep the fight going even as they are running away. So we'll be able to get that turned around, get 1 kill for Pandoria, 1 kill for Watch This, and get the dragon for themselves in what really needed to happen there. As one thing we have not really talked about a whole lot outside of the Jace is the scaling potential here. As Xerath late game, super scary just from the amount of poke that can come through. Not a lot of ability to negate that poke, and you have the Kale as well, who is just a super scaler, and there is nothing that can even really compare to the Kale from Facebook's team comp.
Frankly, though, looking for the gank mid. Doesn't have Impale, but he does have Predator. OP Sad Boys and Chingo are here as well. They're looking for the dive. Kale gonna pop the ultimate. Pandoria stays alive. OP Sad Boys, though, caught in the flag and drag. Cataclysm as well. Pops the Vanguard's edge. We'll be trying to get some damage down on Podobi. He's able to get out alive just barely, but Podobi still picks up the kill. And now they're in trouble. Chingo caught up here. He's down to 100 health. The damage comes in from the Kale. And it's going to be a 2 for 0. As watch this takes down this top lane tower.
That is
Wubzy
800 gold
falling back in.
in Sword's pocket.
Clear on a Silent J.
Yeah, this Kale just got a bunch scarier now, as that is a lot of gold into her pocket now, and that will be the Nashers done. They do lose one tower on the bot side, but trade it for the top one. And now you can see levels starting to change here as these kills coming through in succession gives a lot of opportunity for farm and experience to get into Pandoria and Sword's pocket. You can see OP just hit level 10. Swords has been level 10. Potato Shooter still level 8 to the level 9 on Pandoria. So definitely a stronger turnaround here for the Microsoft team. And they really needed that because it was starting to get out of control.
Yeah. Swords now. Level 10. Needs one more level to get to the level 11 transformation. Watch this also at level 10. No one's on level 11 yet. OP Sad Boys behind an experienced Chingo about even, although watch this just hit level 11 there. Obviously not as important on the Jace as pretty much anyone else, but it's nice. You know, he just starts with his ultimate. No big deal.
Yeah.
It's like,
like
Karma in Italy, Elise, Jace.
Mythics are coming through now, as we see Leandries on the Xerath and the Zyra. Still no Leandries on the Morgana, as the Seekers was picked up.
Shield Bow on the Ashe.
Shield Bow, yeah, on the Ashe, I think is a good pickup because you need that survivability. You are not going to survive. Uh-oh. Goodbye.
On Aurelia, Zyra gonna pop the ultimate, but can't get too much for it. Flag and Dragon into the Cataclysm, really lost.
TP.
In trouble with Summoner Heroes coming in from the Ashe. TP's being channeled. As Potabi is gonna go down. It's gonna be jungle for support. Silent J down here as well. I didn't even realize the Xerath died on the beginning of that fight. Nope. Facebook's
Silent
still in this.
J. What, like, Potabi put in all the work for that kill, and Silent J, the peel support, walks up, tongue lashes for the kill, and then walks away without trying to save Potabi at all. Like, that is just depressing if you are Potabi there.
Level 11 on the Kale, though. A Swords might be in trouble here. Gets some damage down on a Chingo. Pops the shield, but the Impale is here. Ultimate comes out from the Kale as Chingo tries to kite back out of the way. Sword's going to flash forward, gets the damage on a Chingo, but not enough in time. Frankly, picks up the kill. That is going to be a dead Swords. As the Dragon spawns in 30 seconds, Kale will be back up in time ever so barely.
Yeah, I need to get that Omnivamp there for the Kale to make that fight work, as you do see it come through after the death. Leeching Leer. As a Kale... really powerful with that extra Omnivamp there. But will have to teleport, is respawning now, and there is another dragon on the table.
Silent J, tongue lash forward on to Ridley lost, but...
No Impale for this fight. No Morgana ult either, so these are two big ultimates not available here.
Trying to cut out of the way. Flag and drag forward. Gets the Cataclysm onto 3 members. Is really lost. Caught up. I watched this. OP Sad Boys, though. Able to get the kill on a Jarv. Goes over the Vanguard's edge. He gets a double kill. No. Makes that a triple on to the TK Pandoria. And watch this now. Try to cut out of the way as they're only able to get the kill onto the enemy support. Potato Shooter taken down very low. Here comes Aurelia. Over the wall. Shutdown goes over to the Morgana, though. And that will be the fight. 4 for 1. And the Dragon going over to Senator. We run Vlads. They're going to pop the ultimate, but Chingo's here. Going to try to find a Dark Binding. Won't be able to find it. Woo!
Yeah, a great Cataclysm on Potabi to really lock down 3 people. But in response, really lost hit a massive Stranglethorns to zone everybody out. Nobody was able to follow Potabi through that fight. And that was enough reset time to keep everybody alive and allow for OP Sad Boys to then catch out the Kale, on the opposite side of that wall. They split up and did not go back out the way they came.
That's
and
almost
that
a
meant
full
Swords.
bleep up Bork from that
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, Swords not able to get away the same way he went in, and that cost them big time. As once the Kale went down, it was one at a time. OP Sad Boy's able to chase people down.
Yeah, now he's got a significant gold lead over the Kale as well. 1.5k. As Frankly has Impale back up. Vanguard's Edge coming up in about 20 seconds here. Really lost though, chunked up. I watch this. They're dancing around the Baron. I don't know if they're going to look for the fight though. Kills per minute this game on the high side as well, despite the late first blood. Chingo gets the root down onto Silent J. Gets the tongue lash. Potato shooter though. Watch this. Yeets some kites the wrong way. And that's going to be a dead Ashe, and the mid tower should go over to Wubzy. Black and drag forward onto Frankly though, but he's caught by the suppression. That should be a dead Jarvan despite the use of the Cataclysm. Silent J also caught by the KO ultimate. It will be a 1-for-1 and jungler for ADC. No jungler, no Baron. Aurelia pushing top side will be able to get a T2 of her own.
Yeah, and that looked like it was going to be such a good start off to that, as getting the pick off and then turning that into a siege situation, but they got a little bit too high feed, did not respect that Skarner ultimate, and paid the price. A flash from Silent J.
Crystal Arrow into the Predator. Frankly is here as OP Sad Boys gets a Vanguard's Edge. Will get shut down regardless. The Stranglethorns comes in though, and Chingo goes unstoppable. It's 1-for-1, but there is a 800 shutdown onto the Jace. Swords on the side of the fight. Has level 12, does not have the ultimate. Chingo gonna pop the Zony's Hourglass, but he will end up falling very soon here. Shutdown goes over to the Jarvan. And not the Kale. Oh no.
Podobi could have left that too. That is another kill that Podobi has taken that really should have just been left alone for somebody else. As watch this, did get that counter kill onto the Aurelia with a big shutdown. And
shooter just get a blast cone back.
Yeah.
2 minutes on the next Infernal Dragon. Baron is available, but I don't think either team wants to go for that play quite yet. Sunfire Aegis completed on the Jarvan, as Chemtech has been the play for Frankly. We continue in this game.
Yeah, Baron is going to be the contested point here. Is Podobi's going to get that Scuttle Crab back out. And yeah, right now it is just not looking great because there has not been an opportunity for Microsoft to get into a siege position. They've had it happen. They've either had it turned around on them or they've gotten too aggressive and lost that fight. The few times they have gotten it is those pickoffs.
OP Sap Boy's caught out though. Has to flash out. Has the Vanguard's Edge available.
Forced the TP though.
Indeed, Chingo is TP, but they want to play around the Baron side of the map anyway.
Yeah, and there is no TP on the Irelia, so this means Irelia has to back. They can try and pressure this Baron here. It's not going to be a super easy Baron for them, as once again, they don't have the tank. But they're just going to try and bait it.
Take this one out. That's going to be spotted by this control ward. Turret falls in the mid lane due to the push from Senator. We run Vlads, and they continue in this game. Less than 3,000 separates these teams at the 24-minute mark. Kale sitting at level 13, just needs 3 more levels. But the Fnatic Death Brush is here. They're able to get the ult from the Ashe onto the Jarvan, and Podobi's dead. 15 seconds on this dragon means that Senator, we run Vlads, will be on Soul Point now.
Yeah, Soul Point will be coming up. Frankly, able to get that, assuming no sneakiness, but
it's the NA Baron.
It's the NA Baron.
No, they can't do it. They can't do
it.
They just don't have a front line.
They don't. Unfortunately, though, they could have maybe tried to steal that dragon if Watch This had been there a little bit earlier.
Or Pandoria with the ultimate as well, maybe.
Frankly, did not have the vision for it.
Frankly, though, on the top side of the map, we'll be clearing out vision towards this Baron pit. Should be the next flashpoint, but Soul Point is up in 4 minutes, 35 seconds. Riftmaker completed on the Kale. She has the item. She has the Gnasher's Tooth as well. Looking for yet another one soon. They have to be very careful. 3 levels on Kale. The game is close. They're currently playing from behind, but not by much.
Yeah, that will be a huge turning point there, because that is a lot of their DPS on their team. Basically, all of their DPS do have the 2 main items that you need, the Gnashers and the Riftmaker finished on this Kale. Those are the two big items that you need for Kale to pop off.
Indeed, that is the case, and the vision this game definitely going in favor of Senator. We run Vlads at the moment. 37 vision score on the Skarner, 66 on Really Lost at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, when you fall behind early, that is what happens. It is a rough
Watch
spot
this,
here.
though! Almost deletes Shingo, but he's out of his spell shield. That was very clutch, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, it hits. Frankly, now, look for the engage. Has the Impale available. Watch this. Caught up in the Impale. Chingo's here, and Potato Shooter picks up the kill. That feels so bad. Zonya's clutch coming in from Chingo.
That almost was a great escape there, but the Ash Arrow coming in clutch, and then everybody just trying to respond to this. Nobody paying attention to OP Sad Boys running through here.
So they lost flashes.
They're not going to get anything for this.
It's worth it if the T3 goes down. Oh my god. And they're pinging towards the Baron now. With this top lane inhib tower dead. Jarvan is on the map. Jace, 7 seconds to respawn. Frinkly's here. They have the vision control in the enemy jungle for the most part. They'll spot out swords on the way. They don't take the Baron super fast, but it's not a slow Baron call anyway. And OP Sad Boys is playing on the zone. Goes in towards swords. Watch this, though. Ends up going in. They will be able to get the kill on OP Sad Boys. The turn call is being made as Frankly just running around with the Chemtech. Can't really find any sort of engagement. 3-man Cataclysm hits. With the Zyra's there with the ultimate, they're able to stop the damage from coming in just quite a bit, but Chingo is very low. Will get taken out by Pandoria. The ultimate from the Xerath now. Gonna try to find the damage onto the Skarners. Really Lost gets blasted out of the way, but the acceleration gated Q shut down lands. Pandoria picks up the kill with the ulti. That will be the Baron for WoW Wubzy, and they're still in the game.
Infernal Soul map changing that fight around, because the blue buff wall not there meant there was another option to go through around that Zyra ultimate. If that wall was still up, there would not have been a way for them to go around that Zyra ult, and they would have been stuck in the same position as they were in that previous dragon fight. They would have been stuck, not able to follow up on another huge cataclysm, but because that wall was down, they could just walk around, and you saw swords and and Pandoria hit a huge Q right across 3 people and turn that fight into a win.
Yeah. And the gold lead, it's now down to 1,000. Baron buff is on WoW Wubzy, as we have 56 seconds on this Infernal Soul. And honestly, I don't think Senator who run Vlads is going to want to try to contest that. I'll be Sad Boys, though. How do I watch this yet again? And he just deletes them.
Yeah, and the Aurelia is starting to fall off a little bit here.
I mean,
obviously, some of that is just getting caught out, but yeah, Aurelia not as strong of a scaling champion when compared to the opposing laner.
You don't have a way to pop Edge of Night without your team there, is kind of the issue. Because if you Vanguard's Edge, it does nothing. And if you get a Flawless Duet, it just pops the Edge of Night and does nothing. 19 seconds on Aurelia, 14 seconds on Dragon. Aurelia does not have a TP as she went for the Ignite this game.
Yeah, and there needed to be more of a win off of this mid lane here. As Jace, while not scaling extremely well, when there is not a hard tank, we talked about this with Jhin, when there is not a hard tank, you can scale decently as the Jace because your damage is not going to fall off super hard. It's not going to just keep scaling exceedingly well, but without the tank, there's nobody there to soak that lethality damage for free, and you're still going to pop whoever you hit. Skarner being the only tank there, it means there is a lot of targets for Jace to blow people up, and there is the level 16 from Swords, so that is the perma max stack Kayle on that passive. This is gonna be a close down to the wire finish, but the longer it goes, the more I feel like it is just going to work out for Microsoft.
Yeah, this Kayle getting off the ground, about to build into the Lich Bane as well. Taking the recall, this should be the Lich Bane built. 3-item Kayle, level 16. Unless they can find a pick with the Skarner onto Swords, QSS has not been built on anyone. I don't know if Senator Rerun Vlads can make the 2-0 sweep happen. The gold is dead even as the Baron buff runs out. 3 minutes on Baron, 3 minutes 45 seconds on the Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, so no neutral objectives for a while. This is just going to be a little bit of a weak point now. And with nothing to fight over, that is a huge win for Microsoft because it means they just keep scaling. So they are totally okay scaling up and just keeping this going. The longer this goes, the more scary Kayle is going to get. And once that Baron does eventually spawn, you know, you already have 3 items on the Kayle. There is nobody that can compare in damage.
Just keep scaling, just keep scaling, just keep scaling, scaling. What do we do? Just scale, scaling. Okay, Sad Boy's on a board. It's Finding Nemo, okay? It's a good movie. Come on.
As we do see, once again,
here's that siege you were talking about.
Yeah,
early,
the siege coming through, and this is fine. This is exactly where Microsoft want to be because the longer this goes, the better it is for them. Obviously, the lifesteal is there to negate some of it, but it is still just a problem. You can see I lost 1 QE combo from Jace, half the health gone.
Yeah, really lost, not feeling all that found at the moment. In fact, really living up to her name. The moment in this game, as I had some very good early gameplay, but now that we're up to this point, I feel like Senator Rerun Vlads just needs to find a pick and then a fight. That's the only way they can find this win, and the longer this game goes, the less likely that'll be.
Yeah, the reset's coming through as Baron will be spawning in about a minute, so this is the time you want to reset if you want to keep vision control available. You want to get back a little bit early and get yourself set up and reset before it spawns. OP Sadboy's gonna be backing now, a little bit late for that, especially without the TP.
Yeah, 30 seconds left on Baron. Has the Sterix Gauge, right? That is completed Sterix Gauge, yes. Plus a Caulfield. So we'll be a little bit more, I should say, be a little bit less susceptible to Jace now. The Sterix Gauge completed. But Pota B, look at this positioning. Might be able to find OP Sad Boy as he runs into the bush. Flag and Drag lands. Flawless Wet not going to be able to hit as the Cataclysm gets on to 3 members. Kayle going to pop the ultimate as the Vanguard Judge goes into the back line. Pota B very low right now as Frankly goes in with the Blast Cone, gets the Impale down onto the carry. They're getting the damage. The Kayle is shut down. Frankly very low, but I don't think it even matters as the rest of the team is already dead. Pandoria, the last one of the team remaining, and Wubzy could not find the fight with the Kayle down. Senator Rerun Vlads gets the ace.
Yeah, and no peel used on that Kayle, and Swords moving too far forward in that fight. So much AoE coming down from the Hurricane and the Zyra. The Morgue able to also get in there. There is way too much to move forward like that, and with the eat and the locket and everything used to keep Potami alive for so long, that is just nothing left in the tank there for the Kale to stay alive, and that is going to be not just the Infernal Soul, but Baron as well for 4 people.
They needed to win that fight. I thought for sure OP Sad Boys got caught at the start. But no. Who's catching whom? The answer obviously was Senator We Run Vlads on to Microsoft Wow Wubzy. We have 2.5 minutes on this Baron, just about. For Senator We Run Vlads to run rampant as well as this Infernal Soul. The Elder Dragon and the Baron will spawn at the same time. About 5.5 minutes. This game's going the distance.
Yeah.
It's going for speed.
It is just very, very back and forth here. But with this Baron and Infernal Soul, this is the point that Facebook need to put the pedal down and keep the pressure up. If they just let this Baron die without accomplishing anything, that is not going to be a good look for them, because it is just the loss of power that they need to compare to this Kale. They got one good fight, but...
Oh. Well, that's a catch.
Uh-oh!
Potato shooter, and that's a dead Ash. Ult coming in from the Xerath. Chingo gonna try to dodge out. Caught up in the flag and drag, though. Pops the ulti, but I think Chingo might not be long for the world. Acceleration gate forward. That is 3 members of the Baron up team dead, but OP Sad Boys is in the top lane. Should be able to get an inhib and then back. You can't afford to get picked like that.
Frankly's holding the wave in mid lane. They can't push anymore.
That is a very nice...
Very smart, and probably saved that inhibitor.
That is like some Singed level proxy right there.
Yeah, that is actually just a huge misplay from Microsoft to not just ferry their minions into the tower. So actually, what they get those picks, and yes, they get the Barons off, but they don't get a whole lot more out of it.
And there still is a Baron on OP Sad Boys for the next 35 seconds. And they were able to get the top inhib. That is the first wave of supers this game, frankly. Might be able to find Silent J. Has the Impale available, not going to use it quite yet as he's waiting for the carries to make their way in. Flawless duet. And that will be a dead Skarner. Chingo now onto Pandoria. I don't think that's going to be a long Xerath for the world. The shutdown goes over to Frankly on the Skarner.
Yeah. So what was a great couple of picks just gets turned right back around, and while the Baron does get negated basically, and they don't get a whole lot out of it, it's still overall just a win here because there is 2 people down. They can't clear this wave super well without the Xerath, and now that is 1 inhib down. They're going to keep pushing.
Going up the Vanguard's edge, only able to get on to watch this, but he is going to get caught up in the Kale ult. Ash going to go ahead with the Enchanted Crystal Arrows. Frankly goes ahead, pulls in the impaled target. Jarvan gets a Cataclysm on a 4, but it's not going to be enough for time. He stays alive just barely through this Jarvis Gauge. So it will be a 2-for-1, but now here comes OP Sad Boys. He's going to be exhausted up, pops the Sterak's Gauge himself. Now he's trying to run out of the way. Silent J looking for the damage as here comes the Xerath ulti. OP Sad Boys very low, and he gets taken out by the Kale. The Xerath ultimate gets another pick as well. This was an overstay. Frankly, the last one alive on his team. 2 minutes on this Elder Dragon, 2 minutes on the Baron, and watch this. Looking for the Q snipe. Won't be able to find it on to Frankly in time.
Yeah, and now Swords needs to stay back, keep the base alive. Frankly, does not have the health here, needs to back. And there is not going to be anybody up for another 30 seconds here. This is definitely going to be the mid lane inhib going down. I don't think they're going to be able to get anything more. And there is another Baron and Elder Dragon spawning at almost exactly the same time in 1:30.
You cannot overextend like that. When you get those 2 picks, you have to realize, hey, maybe we don't dive this T3. Play for the Elder, play for the Baron. Swords is level 18 now. Building into the decap. Steris Gauge and Gargoyle Stoneplate. The story of that fight, Podobe staying alive through the Steris Gauge and Gargoyle Stoneplate procs, and no shutdown on his head, but there is a shutdown on the Kale. Has the Rabadon's death cap completed now. Building in a one last item off the Fiendish Codex.
Yeah, now Baron and Elder Dragon in about 30 seconds. Looks like Facebook gonna get the drop here.
Flashes out of the way of the Enchant Crystal Arrow, but is caught up by the Impale. That should be a dead Jace as soon as the GA is done popping.
Okay, but this is
Potato shooter.
3 big ultimates burned for that pick, and their wave is not in a spot that they can really do a whole lot about, so that will be the Elder Dragon, but they could actually end up losing the Baron for this if they overcommit on this Elder Dragon.
I think Elder Dragon's worth more than Baron at this stage in the game, to be honest.
Ooh.
It's an argument that's had all the time, though, to be fair.
Yes! I think, honestly, the ability to keep that wave out of their base is super, super important here. The Baron buff completely negates the Siege comp, but Elder Dragon does not.
The reason
they're
for it is that I think
out.
if you just want to take a straight front to back, you just want that. And frankly now, with so fast on a Silent J, he's going to be slowed up. Chingo looking for the root, will be able to find it as the damage comes through. Silent J will fall. 3 members have Baron buff remaining versus 5 with the Elder. Kale, though, in the base with the Baron up minions. TP's being channeled. I think they're looking for the back door. Podobe gonna try to get the stop. He's not able to do it. Swords is here. The damage, it's come through. The damage on the Nexus. It's gonna be dead. No! What was that ending?
The last auto as he died. Watch this. Gets the Nexus.
What?
That was the closest backdoor I have ever seen. And
what? We're going to game 3?
Do you smell that? It is game 3 on the horizon. Both teams not wanting to give up, and now we are going to one game to take it all.
One game to find them. One game to, in the darkness, bind them. That is game 3 coming up off of what was the hyphiest of backdoors I've ever seen. Holy moly.
Oh my god, that was one of the craziest endings to a game I have seen. And to take that call, to make that is such a hard call to make too, because if you are putting your season on the line with that call. If that doesn't work, that is game over in the other direction.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was insane. That was an insane ending to that game. One auto attack. Literally, had he died like half a second before that, we wouldn't be going to game 3.
Yeah, no, he died.
There weren't minions in the base. They were going through backdoor. That was...
Yeah, he died as the auto traveled towards the Nexus. That was just one of the closest backdoors I have ever seen. And for that to come with the season on the line is absurd.
That was closer than the X-Peke, actually.
It was actually, yes.
Like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. We're getting in the lobby for game number 3 at the moment, but before that, we're going to take a quick break, get some water, and all that type of stuff. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the Corporate Esports Association League of Legends playoffs, round of 16 between Microsoft, Wubzy, and Senator Rerun Vlads. Don't touch that browser. We'll be right back. Well, we're back after that stunning end to the game of game number 2. Microsoft Wubzy taking us to game number 3. They're now on the red side. Senator, we run Vlads on the blue side. We're into this draft. Kale is off the table. 100% presence this series and honestly deserved. Kha'Zix, Camille, Shen, and Kane as well. I want to see if this is going to be the Swain or if they're going to ban the Zach here from Microsoft Wubzy.
Yeah, it's
the
the
Swain.
Swain. So Zach is available for the first time this series. We'll see if that comes through. I kind of don't
still
think so.
available, and I think frankly looks really good on Skarner.
Yeah, I think the Skarner is honestly the better call, even though the Zach has been banned away.
We'll see. Ash gonna be first picked here for Potato Shooter. 100% Ash play this series as well. Watch this. It's a pick for his team.
Yeah,
they run Vlads.
Oh, here we go. It's the Vlad.
Yeah, we were
Now-
expecting this to be contested. This could be
Yeah.
top or mid for them.
It is probably top. Swords doesn't have a whole lot of experience on it. It is a pick. Watch this. Basically plays a heck of a lot of. So this is one that I was honestly expecting to see sooner, but that will come through probably top lane. And there is the Jarvan again, which was really, really good. A couple of like really, really good cataclysms. Not all of them got taken advantage of, but I
came off of
think
really lost Zyra though.
Yeah.
Oh man, frankly, now to pick for his team. I mean, like it could be the Skarner pick. I think Zach's better into Jarvan. In theory. Jax was banned away previously. Will get picked up. I don't think this is going into the Vladimir. I honestly think it could be Jungle Jax. Because I don't like Jackson and Vlad at all.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a jungle. But still is technically a flex. Chingo not gonna show anything yet. No, that is gonna be the Zax, so it is a top lane Jax, and that is not a fun matchup for Jax. Jax generally wants to either, go up against an easy lane matchup, or he wants to outscale super hard, and he doesn't get either of those in this matchup.
He has the ability to out split push the Vladimir. Like Vladimir's better in a team fight, but Jax is better in the split push. So
Vlad is still going to be hard for Jax to kill, though, no matter what.
I'm Pandoria on the Zio signature pick for her, as that one was banned away last game. No misfortune, no Jin though. This entire series, we have not seen a single Jin presence, not even a ban towards him, and one MF pick, one MF ban. And the Malzahar are getting banned away as well. To me, this says that they want to pick their front line coming in. And honestly, Malzahar mid's also good in the Vladimir. So it's entirely possible that they're thinking about maybe flexing the Vlad. I expect the support pickup fourth, though, just to keep the flex and hold it. As the Galio gets banned away from swords.
Yeah. They also just banned the Malzahar previously, so it might just be something that they don't want to deal with. Possibly something that Chingo has, way back in the day, and it's just not something that they really want to fight up against. Yeah, but the Xayah comfort pick for Pandoria was banned away last time. Victor also getting taken off the board here as, Potato Shooter, 100% Ash play rate here. And we'll see if Really Lost is going to take the Zyra again or go for something different this time around.
I'm expecting some aggression, right? You have Zach looking for the level 4, level 5 gank. You have Jax as well, who's fairly tanky, even though he is a bruiser. Grandmaster Smite helps a lot of things with that champion, as well as Counter-Strike. Preventing damage from the Xayah. Pandoria, now to pick for her team. This should be the support pickup from Microsoft.
Yeah, they don't want to show this Vladimir yet because they have not seen any of the solo lanes. So this should be the support pickup. And there is the Nami coming through. So pretty much just a generalist. Nami's pretty solid, honestly, pretty middle of the road. Not anything amazing. And obviously she pretty much just kind of does a general all kind of support thing.
I mean, it's the first enchanter we've seen this series, so
true. Yeah, and I think
an enchanter focused meta.
And I wouldn't call this an enchanter focused meta. It is mage / some engage supports. But Nami, pretty solid, and I think for Silent J that is a much more comfortable pick than we have seen. So glad to see that come through, and that is the Morgana that could be a mid or a support. Still don't know.
Oh, really lost has the ability to pick for herself, potentially. Morgana probably gonna go on to Chengo, I think. Yeah,
Yep,
we'll be the Zyra once again.
Yeah, so really lost. Looked really good in the middle portion of that last game, but the late game got caught out a lot. And oh no, I like this hover. I like this hover a lot.
Oh no.
This, when you have something like a Zyra picking
It is Vladimir mid!
It is Vlad mid. Okay.
This Malphite pick is so good in a Jax. It's even better than the Vlad pick, actually.
Yeah, so that is actually really interesting. Or it could be Malphite mid.
I would never take Malphite mid into Morgana ever in my life.
I wouldn't either, but you never know.
Like I like even if Swords is playing Malphite, I expect it to be Malphite top, right? Like as someone who can play Malphite mid, you do not take that matchup into anyone who doesn't use the right click. But for the moment, it's mid lane.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm really questioning this Jax pick here. Because that is not, no matter, you were either blind picking it or picking it into the Vladimir. And neither of those are times where you really ever consider Jax an option. So yeah. I'm very skeptical. Unless OP Sad Boys really shows something absurd on this Jax, I am very questionable. On top of that, that Jax is kind of one of your main carries. You have a very supportive mid laner, you have a tank jungle, and you have a utility AD carry. The Jax has to pull a lot of weight here, and not in a situation where Jax is really capable of doing so on his own.
I mean, you just kind of don't do anything to Vlad, and you get dumpstered by Malphite. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter what the lane matchup is. Like, I'm assuming Comet Malphite, not Grasp. I think Grasp Malphite is just bad, but even worse than a Jax.
I will be very sad if I see Grasp on this Malphite.
But regardless, it's like full tank Malphite. Like, all he needs to do is grab, or is rush Tabbies. Or grab Bombing Cinder, rush Tabbies, and then, like, Jax does nothing to him the rest of the game. And all of their damage is auto attack based, actually, because they have Jax and Ashe. With, like, some damage from Zyra Morgana, but, like, Malphite's just really good here. I really like this Malphite pick. It's really... I
think really regardless of where this Malphite ends up going, it is just a good pick here.
Unless, of course, it's AP Malphite, in which case it's a bad pick, but...
I like AP Malphite.
AP Malphite just isn't as good. It does the same amount of damage as Tank Malphite. That's the thing.
That's not true. That is not true. You have not played against...
I have played games as Tank Malphite where I am the #1 damage in the game, and it's not even close.
I'm sorry, what's your rank again, PhiNick?
I've seen games in Diamond Plus where that's the case, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hush.
Mm-hmm.
You know...
How good is Nivea in the meta right now?
She's garbage. She's so bad that she's getting the biggest buff a champion has seen in quite some time on this patch. Oh my god. Look, Look, Sunfire is a damage item, exactly. No, okay. Here's the thing. I think AP Malphite is situational. I don't think you take it into a team where tank Malphite gives you more, right? And into Ash Jax with like no significant sources of magic damage, tank Malphite gives you more than AP Malphite.
Yes, I would rather see tank Malphite here, but I just think AP Malphite is silly.
It's fun. It's great in ARAM. I just don't like it outside of scenarios where it's like I thought I was landing into a Yasuo, but it turns out that that's Yasuo bot lane and everyone else on the team does magic damage, right? Like, and this will be the lane swap. Swords took TP. Watch this, took Ignite. Ignite Vladimir. Not something I typically see, but we are now approaching the end game on the blue side. It is, of course, Senator, we run Vlads, red side, Microsoft, wow, Wubzy. Wow, Wubzy.
So that is going to be top lane Malphite.
That is top lane Malphite.
Yes, as Watch This does have the Ignite once again. And Swords does have the TP.
Well, I mean, last game it was
sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
And Chingo that swapped. Now it's Swords and Watch This. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, once again, Malphite dumpsters Jackson lane. You just kind of sit back with Comet, hit him, and then clear wave with E, and then you just win. Mommy Center is dumb. The way that Riot balances tank Malphite is no one can withstand falling asleep while playing it. The thing is, though, right? Tank Malphite is fun. It's not like the tankiest of champions. But
he's going to tank, guys.
Yeah,
guys,
no, it is fun.
Solo cast now.
Well, look, it's fun. Like, not in this like top lane Karma's fun because it's basically you don't get to have fun this game to the other top lane.
PhiNick just likes champions that he can turn his brain off to.
I like hitting big ult keys, and Malphite is one of those. One of those.
You can tell his brain is off because he thinks the ult key changes size.
Junglers both starting on the top side of the map. So this is blue side Zach. So he's gonna want to look for his first gank towards bottom side of the map. Oh, sorry, towards top side of the map actually. So I'm going to expect, yeah, it's buff wolves and then a full clear bot side, I believe, is the path here, because you can't really take Gromp that easily at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is more than likely going to be it. Zach does enjoy doing the multi camps. Malphite does not enjoy the level 1 here, but Jax will take a lot of minions.
Hits level 2 with the leap strike forward.
Yeah, no, the issue is less about the Q and more about the minions also hitting the Jax there.
Yeah. Yeah, Counter-Strike's off some minion hits. That's unfortunate, but Swords will be fine. Once this wave pushes in, right, he gets a Q, now he has his E, or he should. Yep. And now he just kind of sits there and makes it so Jax can do nothing. It's not even like a neutralization lane like Karma is here. It's literally just like... Actually, Karma's actually bad into Jax because of the auto attack, but... still. Black and Drag bot side, level 3. It gets caught up under tower, now to 100 health. TP being channeled, though. There's a leap strike, counter strike in the future. Gonna be exhausted up, though. So it actually was Chingo who rotated over. The root lands, though. That will be First Blood going over to the Ashe. Pandoria now. In a little bit of trouble, gets to pull back, but he will end up falling regardless, or I should say she will. That's gonna be a 2-for-0. In favor of Senator, we run Vlads. That's their first Blood of the series.
And I'm actually surprised there. I thought the flash was going to come through on Chingo to try and confirm Podobi, but actually just changed targets onto Silent J, kept the flash up, got that kill, and then frankly coming through, getting a massive Zac Q on the Ashe to confirm that. As now watch this in a bit of a rough spot.
He's got Sanguine Pool. He's fine. Podoby, though, gets the flag and drag down onto Frankly. Just going to take the Elastic Slingshot over. Level 3 Elastic Slingshot, obviously not the greatest of engage tools, but does feel nice. Going to smite the buff for health, get the 2-man pull, and that's going to be another dead person. Senator, we run Vlads. Where was this last game? This early game tempo is just insane right now.
Greedy play from Podoby there, and it looked like what was going to be a good fight. You know, like Podoby was winning that, and then the lack of smite coming through for, as Frankly did smite for the health, and really lost being over there to add to the damage, and just Podoby not respecting the fact that Zyra had roamed.
Well, on top of that, right? Like, it's just smart play from Frankly as well. Smiting for health. So going over, smiting for health, and then getting the stretching strikes. Because he's able to grab the minion, he's able to get the pullback onto Podoby as well. That was really, really well played from Frankly. He's going to have a Bomby Cinder to his name now. 5-minute mark of the game. You know, OP Sad Boys losing out on every single trade now.
Yeah.
Even the ones he opts into.
Well, that's part of the problem too, is just he is opting into trades that are just in a bunch of minions there. And minion damage is no joke if you're not a tank. So OP Sad Boy is hopping into a big tank that does not take a lot of damage. And also tanking minions at the same time means you're going to lose that trade 99% of the time.
Well, it's another Mountain Drake to start us off. Next Drake gonna be... Are we gonna see another triple stat Drake game? 1,000? Who wrote this script?
I forget who it was this week.
I'm gonna blame Brad for this.
Fair. Understandable.
Not Pulse. I don't think Pulse would write a script where all the dragons are the same.
Yeah.
Frankly, now over the wall with the Elastic Slingshot, gets a nice pull in and really lost piece of the kill. Swords meanwhile topside, like even outside of the minions is winning the trades. There was a Conqueror proc. They're still even in the trade.
Yeah. And the big thing
nice
too.
On a really lost though. But Silent J falls.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, a little bit greedy there. Gotta respect that damage there. Yeah, the trades will get a lot better now that OP Sad Boys is 6, but
oh no.
Fighted it away.
No. The flag and drag just barely in time. All right. So I guess a team who has a product called the Rift would probably be good at League of Legends. You'd think.
More than likely, yeah.
It's like they're like, all right. Just remember, it's not Summoner's Rift we're on, it's the Oculus Rift we're on today. 5-0 right now. This is an insane start to the game. Farm Center to rerun Vlads. This is the best early game from them we've seen all series.
Yeah, and it is one that we've kind of needed to see from them too as well. Just they will scale up okay. Obviously, though this Jax is not going to have a fun time. Will be a little bit ahead in farm though.
Couple CS up, but honestly, it's Malphite. He don't care. He's just gonna honey badger this lane basically. And frankly, hits level 6 now, has Let's Bounce available. Full level up on Podoby at the moment. 100% KP on really lost on the Zyra as well, I would like to say. 2-0-3. And look at this! Swords. Looks like he's going to lose the trade through the Conqueror Proc. He wins, gets the ultimate back. Here comes Podoby. Flag and drag and Swords gets the kill, but frankly is here. Has the Let's Bounce. Flashing from Chingo, as well as the ult that will be a dead top laner. So it's 1-for-1 on the top side of the map. Both top laners falling. Podobi, though, in trouble. Caught up in the Let's Bounce. Watch This is around. But Podobi will follow the flash forward. Doesn't matter. As Watch This can't save his jungler in time. Silent J, meanwhile, on the bot side of the map. 150 health. The damage is here from Really Lost. The Really Lost almost gets 2 kills as Watch This gets the kill on a Chingo on the top side. 2 for 2, I think, across the map? No, 2 for 3. 2 for 3. Wait, TP?
Uh-oh.
Wait, TP? Swords does not have ulti.
He doesn't need it.
Was way too far back up. That is TP to the rescue. Another TP coming in. This one from Chingo. Swords down about 500 health. Gonna get rooted up into the tormented soil. He goes. Chingo gets the kill. As Jarvan gets the cataclysm onto the Zyra.
What is
Chingo now. I mean, look, I complimented the early game of Senator we run Vlads, and Wubzy's like, nah, we gotta step up our game too. And we are now back and forth. This is a bloody game at the moment.
Yeah, everybody just kind of keeps running in for like 1v1 fights, and it is an interesting thing.
We went from 5-0 to 9-4 in like a minute and a half.
Yeah, and we do see actually lane swaps coming through. Swords going back to that mid lane now instead of the top, as Watch This will go up to that top side with a sizable advantage onto this, onto the Jax. And actually it looks like it is going to be the Rocket Belt possibly for the Vladimir, as opposed to that Riftmaker.
I think either's a good option. Rocket Bolt gives you the extra utility and mobility that the old Proto Belt Vlads used to go. And plus, despite the fact that Riftmaker goes with this kit very well, I think you can still get quite a bit off Demonic Embrace. We see the ult down bot. Silent J just going to yeet himself off the map. Pandoria can dove under tower a little bit. Chingo is here as well. This should be a dead Xayah, even though she does have the ultimate available. Will be able to use it, but still ulted by the Morgana, has to flash out of the way. Can't get a root off the pole.
And right now, OP Sad Boys just kind of needs to chill. Just don't die. And be existent as Jax. And let the team carry to a victory, as that will be another dragon coming through.
It's the script. It's the script. Another triple stat Drake game with Infernal Soul. 1,000. What does this mean?
Stay tuned for more.
Did you have a look at the script before the broadcast?
No, I generally don't. I like to be surprised.
Aha.
I'm a true connoisseur.
I honestly did not look either, but
Silent J
going
is
as
having
spicy as it's been.
God.
Really lost picks up the kill on Silent J. I mean, it will be traded for a Herald on the top side of the map.
Ugh. Silent J is just not having a good time there. Still level 5 to the level 7 of Really Lost.
Yeah, Really Lost right now. 4-1-4, highest KP on the team. And the Zyra last game was nothing to sneeze at. This game definitely putting in even more work. Open Sad Boys, or OP Sad Boys top side. There's a Red Herald being summoned. This should be first tower. Pre-14 going over Swords and Podobi. Not necessarily who you want to get the gold on, but gold is gold. And at this stage in the game, that's really all you can hope for. They're down 2,000. Pandoria rooted up. Here comes the Zyra ult. See it, and Pandoria will fall. Nice chain CC off the Enchanted Chrysalero there. Swords, though. Looking for Chingo mid lane. Has the Unstoppable Force, but frankly's here as well. With the Elastic Slingshot. Bot lane tower will fall. And Potato Shooter and Really Lost have a significant advantage over this Xayah at the moment. 2,000 gold lead on the Ashe. That is almost the entirety of the gold lead on this Ashe at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's also a huge amount of gold difference in the
Support position.
support position. Yeah.
Yeah, 2,500, almost 3,000. It's quite a lot.
When you're 2 levels down at support, that is a rough time.
Definitely. Leandra's Torment already completed on Really Lost on the Zyra. And Nami.
Got that Bandle
currently
Glass
just
mirror.
sitting on a
baby.
Bandle Glass mirror. Watch this. Is it a little bit of trouble, but he's Vladimir, so he should be fine. As Chingo picks up a blue buff on the Morgana. And they're looking for a 4v2 mid. You have to be very careful ganking onto a Vladimir. They're able to get the pull in from the stretching strikes into the Let's Bounce. Watch this. Going to go into the Sanguine Pool, but I think he is not long for the world. As the
Silent J is dead
Nami
again.
also falls. This is just a slaughter right now.
Yeah, this is not looking good. So we were all worried about the Jax, but it turns out Ashe Syra is not a fun lane to play against.
Yeah. Here comes Frankly, though. Lost a slingshot over on his swords, but he's still tanky against the Zac for now. Has the completed Sunfire Aegis. OP Sad Boys, though, in a little bit of trouble. Gonna counter strike off the damage and leap strike to a ward over the wall. We are 15 minutes in.
What is worth mentioning is
Janet Crystalero. That should be a dead Xayah, even though the ult was used. Nami uses the tidal wave as well. And as you were saying,
the good news is that Vladimir is farming very well. Has the Night Harvester here.
Swords 2-man ult. Off the E. The Summoner heals there. Root lands onto the Malphite. I don't think he's going to be able to take up the damage for much longer. Cataclysm onto the back line. As Frankly is in a little bit of trouble here. Swords, though, down to 300 health. Has to flash out of the way, but he gets taken down off the Sunfire Aegis proc. And Frankly now diving deep onto Silent J. He's down to 200 health. Watch this. Tries to get the damage in time, but it doesn't matter. OP Sad Boys gets killed. Topabi, the next one to fall, and it's a 4-for-0. Senator rerun Vlads. Running at Microsoft's Vlads. And they will be able to get this next dragon. 3 drakes to 0 on this game.
Yeah, and Sword's the only person who's doing like decently well here. The Vlad okay, but not off the ground yet, and just engaging 3v1 alone as a tank Malphite, not going to be enough. And everybody trying to follow up on that just ends up going down one at a time. Potato Shooter doesn't go down due to the Immortal Shield Bow there.
Yeah, and it was so close to his Lord staying alive, but the last little tick from Frankly Sunfire Aegis secured that kill. And honestly, it was a good look from Swords. But there just is not any follow-up damage on their team at the moment. That said, right, if somehow they can stall this game for another 20 minutes, they should be fine. Because they have Vladimir and Xayah. However, I don't think they're going to be able to get that far. They're down 5,000 gold at 17 minutes.
Yeah, and really big is the fact that this bot lane is 0-11 together. That is not a good look.
Frankly, not able to get the stretching strikes due to the Sanguine Pool of Swords and OP Sad Boys are top side. OP Sad Boys, I think you still lose that trade, to be honest.
Okay, so a decent point to make that Divine Sunderer does have the percent penetration for both armor and magic resist, so we'll be able to, I think, late game actually hurt the Malphite. Divine Sunderer very good into tanks, so with the lifesteal and the Divine Sunderer should be able to actually fight this Malphite at a later point.
Yeah. He's 200 gold down, despite being 202 and 150 bounty on his head. 30 CS up, but that's just kind of the power of the Malphite in the lane. He's also got the Ninja Toppies. Watch this. Might be in a little bit of trouble. Pops the Sanguine Pool, gets out of the way. Podobe is topside alongside Swords. Podobe might actually be looking for a Cataclysm here. So
Yeah, you can see now.
He's the lead stripe. He's going forward on a Sword.
But
Binkley's there, though. But we got the Flag and Drag, no Cataclysm yet as the TP gets channeled. Podobe, not long for the world. Potato Shooter's there in time and gets the kill. Swords doesn't even want to look for the ult there. I don't blame him. This is a clinic from Senator Rerun Vlads. I don't think either of us are expecting this after game 2. But the mental reset was there, and they are now in such firm control of this game. I'm having a hard time finding a way for Microsoft to get back in. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I honestly think it is just, they have to hope that there's some kind of overengage from the Zac that people just file into, and there's a good Malphite ult that turns things around, because a big Malphite Vlad ultimate could change things, but it is going to require a mistake from Facebook in order for that to happen.
Senator, we run Vlads. They got the bye going in. Looking to make it to the quarterfinals. And they are looking to seal the deal here. Going into the mid game. They have Leandries on the Morgana. They have 2 items on the Ashe. That would be the Immortal Shield Boat and the Runon's Hurricane. Divine Sunderer. Plus parts of a Bork for the Jax. Sunfire Aegis and Spectre's Cowl going into the Spear Visage for the Zac. And Leandries and what appears to be an early decap on the works for really lost on the Zyra, frankly. Going in, gets a Stretching Strikes on the 1, that won't be enough. Nami, go ahead and pop the Tidal Wave, frankly. Has to flash out of the way of the bubble. Podobe, though.
There needs to be more of that to happen for Microsoft to get back into this team, but they can't do this.
Flash forward, gets the ult on a 4. The ult's coming in from the Zyra as well. Frankly goes on a rampage. There is no hope for the Xayah. She is deleted. Watch this, goes on the back line, but it can't get any kills. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow going into the back side of the fight as the Ashe falls to watch this, but watch this, not long for the world. 3-4-1, and the stun lands onto Swords. OP Sad Boys on a rampage now. 4-1 and 3, and a 4 for 1. First Senator, we run Vlads. You can see the power of the Vlad on Microsoft, but it's a little bit too little too late, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's too little too late as much as it's just the bot lane here does not really provide a whole lot. You are down over an item entirely in the AD carry position, and we are still waiting for a mythic to be finished on Silent J.
Well, they were able to get the inhib through use of the Rift Herald. That should allow them to get the Baron as the Jax solos the Dragon for the soul.
Yeah, Silent J has not even finished his support item as of yet. So still trying to finish the gold quest on that at 22.5 minutes into the game.
Meanwhile, really lost only about 1,000 gold off decap. 7-1 and 9 on the Zyra. Chingo silently 4-1 and 11 on the Morgana. After a great game 1, see the Morgana pick once again. Is doing a lot of work this game as well. After that game 2 loss. But there's damage coming in. He has a fully stacked Dark Seal. They will start on this Baron at the moment. They have mid lane pressure. There's no way for Microsoft to contest.
Yeah, and this one not looking good here, as there isn't even a dragon or anything to fight over here.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say that never mind.
Are you having a stroke?
I was trying to come up with a pun there, and I had one, and then I lost it. All right. So the answer is yes. Or an aneurysm, not sure which.
Maybe both.
I really lost it. Exactly, chat. Came up with a better pun than me. Now I'm sad.
So yeah, if you guys also want to be a play-by-play caster, you can see it's fairly easy to do.
Yeah, super easy. And Pandaria just gets melted. Pops the ultimate, still ignited up though. Gets the pull back on the root. Pandaria will stay alive for the time being, but Chingo is looking for the damage. Silent J though gets the ebb and flow down onto Pandaria. They will stay alive. Yeah, it's definitely the easy job, right? You just get to sit back there all relaxed and stuff, talk about, you know, what happened, past tense, or what will happen, future tense. I gotta talk in the moment. Otherwise, it's there and gone. OP Sad Boys, meanwhile, on to watch this. Get some damage in, but he will get engaged upon by the Malphite. He gets shut down.
Wubzy taking kills once again.
The top lane turret is falling. That rotation, honestly, worth. Because now you have 2 inhib towers off of that Baron push. Oh, not even off the Baron push. One was before Baron now. You get one off the Baron as well with the inhib down, and they might be looking for the bot lane as well. I have about a minute left on the Baron buff, too. I think they can just actually get all 3 inhibs here. This T2 is 1 auto from the Ashe away.
Yeah, and I think that's the safe call here. You are not really in a position where you are worried about the scaling coming into play. You can take your time on this and not overforce something. It is a little bit scary because of the Vladimir, but the bot lane is so far behind that it is almost inconsequential.
I mean, after those first 2 games, right? Like, I was thinking, you know, this could be even closer, but I think it really came down to Senator Rerun Vlads just turned on the early game.
Yeah.
Super hard. And frankly, on the Zac is looking even better than he did on the Skarner. And that is saying something, because he looked really good on the Skarner, especially game 1.
Yeah. It's also just a bit just rough. It's a lot of it just bot lane did not go well, and that has spread across the map, unfortunately, because Swords was doing really well into the Jax for a long time. The Vlad was fine, scaling up, doing okay, but between the Zac getting fed and bot lane just not being able to really do a whole lot because they just kept getting ganked and kept losing fights over and over again, we ran into a same thing that we saw in that first game with the Ashe and the Leona of just constant engages, and one, you know, early lead turns into more wins.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, you know, the definition of a snowball. Mid and hip going to respawn here. But they're on top of it. They might be looking for an engage with Frankly with the elastic slingshot. But he decides against it, as they just want to siege up. They've got such strong siege potential right now, and that will be the mid inhib falling once again. 43 seconds on the Elder Dragon. And they have to look for the Miracle Steel. Elder Dragon is the end of the game if it goes over. 2 Senator, we run Vlads. Podobe 1 level up on Frankly, so it's possible.
Somehow. I don't know how that's even... I guess it's mostly just farm, but like, I'm actually really surprised that Podobe is ahead in levels here.
As am I. 14 seconds on this Elder Dragon. Podobe has to look for the steal. There is... They don't stand a chance of winning a team fight, and they definitely don't stand... Like, even more so if this Elder Dragon goes over and it's going to be started here. Silent J, caught up by stretching strikes. Podobe has to go the long way around, but the Baron just gets melted by the Ashe here. And that should be game. Senator, we run Vlads with a clinic. Podobe just way too late, can't find it. Has to flash out of the way of Chingo. They're looking at the game off this fight. Here. 5-man Elder buff, frankly. Elastic slingshot forward, gets the flag and drag out of Podobe.
Yeah, they're looking to push in with this top lane. Just slowly pushing in. They can push that in. They are actually going to rotate over to the side here.
That's the safe option. You still have Elder Buff for quite a while. You have a Soul as well. Just get all three of these lanes. Get the super minions into the base. Play it on your terms exactly, Photobee, though. Can't really get caught with the elastic slingshots going in. The flash, the let's bounce. He gets the Xayah to pop the ultimate and gets rooted up himself. But the Jax is already in the backline. Pandoria melts. And that's going to be the first kill of this one. Watch this guy try to get on the potato shooter, but I don't think he can get the damage in time. Swords gets the kill with the ultimate as Chingo ends up popping the Zoni's Hourglass. Swords, he's up to half health. The Vladimir, he does the damage. I don't know if they actually end this fight. They had the Elder buff. I don't know how they're losing this fight. Frankly, down to 200 health. He's down to 100 health, but he's able to get the kill on Epitome in return. It's 3-4-3 as OP Sad Boys goes onto the tower. They can't stop this. Even with the Malphite, he doesn't have the ultimate available, but they're going to try anyway. The ultimate not on Silent J either. The first tower falls. The second tower, not long for the world either way. Frankly, and OP Sad Boys, they're down. They're so low. They're just going to try to hit the turret. They're just going to try to hit the Nexus. Frankly, down to 500 health. Pandoria making his way over, going to channel his way out, and they barely live. Microsoft, well, Wubzy finds kills in a fight that they had no reason to even go even in.
Yeah, and so much of that was on Watch This hitting a huge E on the Vladimir alongside the ultimate and just forcing people back in these fights. Did end up going down, but not before taking one person with him and getting multiple people low to the point where Swords could come in, clean up, get a kill, and now with all of those people down, though, that does mean the Baron buff will go over. And that will be another set of playing in the base for Microsoft here.
Plus side, Silent J now has KP, as does Pandoria. It's a moral victory. It's a moral victory. And once again, like, I wasn't expecting this game to be as one-sided as it was, but we have to reiterate. Frankly, played out of his mind early. A potato shooter and really lost just dominated the lane on top of that. But I think this comes down to Frankly. The very first blood of the game made an outplay on the Zac, and it's just snowballing. Photobee in trouble.
Wait, it's out.
Crystal Arrow Nami will be able to get the ult to stay out. They have the Baron buff. They have super minions in 2 waves. They're going to look for the supers in the top side as well.
Yeah, and the fact that they're getting out of these picks is a huge, huge thing. There's no Ash Arrow now. This is not an Essence Reaver type build, so it will be on a longer cooldown.
Photobee now onto the Ashe. Actually, onto the Zyra, excuse me. Gets an ult down onto 2. Silence J is forced to flash out of that one.
Oh, he's still
goes in on a really loss. He's able to get the Cataclysm, but he trades his life. And it is on to the Zyra, not the Ashe. That's not who you want to get and trade your life for. Frankly now. On to Watch This. Can't get a stretching strikes in time. OP Sad Boys goes for the counter strike on a Swords. Swords ults back into the backline, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Swords ends up falling to Chingo, and that's going to be the call for the end. Chingo pops the zone. Hourglass gets caught back by the pullback of the Feather Storm, but I think that is going to be game. Senator, we run Vlads will escape the round of 16 and go to the quarterfinals off of a clinic of a Game 3.
Yeah, and after that game 2, we thought it was going to be a lot closer, but really just huge, huge plays from Frankly and Potato Shooter, and Really Lost. After that bit of a rough game last time, Really Lost turning it around, putting Silent J on the back end of a bad game, and that will be what gets it. They will move forward and get on to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and, you know, it looked like it could have been close, right? That first game was a lot closer than I think, or was very close. Second game was extremely close. It was basically a coin flip at the end there. I'm going to try to get Potato in here for a post-match interview. So he is the captain of the Senator We Run Vlad's team. And looking at these damage graphs, Zyra with the most damage in the game, 22,169. Jack's second most, 21,320. And Vladimir, 19,716.
Yeah, it It was a rough game. If you were the bot lane for Microsoft, unfortunately. I mean, you have to give credit where it's due. Silent J and Pandoria still stuck in it. They did start getting some stuff done in the later portions of the game, but it was a little bit too little too late. And yeah, frankly, really lost. Potato Shooter, big props to that game. Frankly, going 6-0 and 15. Not dying once as the tank is you're showing a lot of control and your understanding of limits as a tank player there.
Yeah, I could not have said it better myself. We are going to get an interview actually with Chingo, the mid laner for Senator We Run Vlads in a bit. But first, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the Corporate Esports Association round of 16. Don't touch that browser. Welcome back, everybody, and we are here with the Facebook Senator Rerun Vlad's mid laner Chingo. How are you feeling after that 2-1 victory over Microsoft Wubzy?
I'm feeling pretty hyped. It was a really great series. They put up a really good show. Still trying to get my adrenaline going down a little bit after that second game with the clutch ending.
Yeah, that was an insane ending to the second game, and honestly, an insane game one as well from you guys. That Swain game number one, I had my doubts about the pick going in, and I'm a mid lane Swain player as well. So, can you talk to us a little bit about like the thoughts taking that pick in a game number one, and overall with your draft strategy there?
Yeah. I think Swain is like a decent champion right now if the other mid laner doesn't play like the counter picks to it. So we kind of like looked into Swords' champion pool a bit, and we found that none of the picks that he chose really could hard gap the Swain individually. Maybe if the jungler interfered a little bit, it could, but yeah. So we felt comfortable blind picking first round Swain just because once you do get to the Leandri's demonic power spike, you kind of just take over games.
Gotcha. And so, obviously, before we get further into the games, you guys at Facebook, I believe, are playing for MSF, also known as Doctors Without Borders. Can you tell us a little bit about the charity before we continue here?
Yeah. So it just like this is actually my first split playing with the Facebook team. So I was not like necessarily the person who like chose the people to donate to. I think it was established around 2 splits ago. So basically it's just like an organization that has it's caring about medical stuff around the world. So we just think that's really important, and it's the charity that we've worked with since the first split, and we're probably going to continue working with them in the future.
Gotcha. 1,000.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to ask about was you guys lane swapped in the second game, the Irelia against the I don't remember for the life of me right now.
Irelia versus Kale, and
The
then
Kale, yeah. And then you guys then in game 3 got lane swapped on. So what were you guys kind of thinking going into that first lane swap, and like what made you kind of like pull the trigger on that versus like how you guys handled getting lane swapped on in the third game?
yeah. So for the second game in particular, I think when we saw that they first picked Kale, Fern, which is OP Sad Boys, our top laner, he's a Kale player, so obviously he knows how to abuse Kales the best. So he wanted to play Irelia mid to sort of abuse the Kale, which was pretty effective. I think he had like double her CS at like some really early time. And Morgana is one of those champions that is people don't really like playing against it because it's very uninteractive. You kind of just press W on the wave and go AFK and push waves. So I feel like I could play that top lane versus anything. So we wanted to run that. It ended up going a little bit haywire when I think we took the pace a little bit incorrectly later on. I feel like we, with our team comp in our second game, we want to go for more slower fights, more picks with the Skarner and the Ashe. But we kind of, once we felt that we had a lead, we kind of accelerated the game too much and went for some unnecessary risks. Oh, and then for third game, when they swapped against us, I thought, I'm pretty sure, like, I knew deep down that we won the game when they swapped, because I think Swords is definitely their strongest player. So putting Swords on top lane in Malphite duty, free win.
Gotcha. So next week, you guys are going to be up against Google working from home, the number 2 seed coming out of the regular season. What are your thoughts on that upcoming match? Looking forward.
It should be a very good fight. I think they definitely have the edge in our previous games. I think in our regular season game, they were able to beat us. We have scrimmed them a couple of times, and we have taken a couple games off of them, so it's not like unwinnable. But they're definitely they definitely had the edge, and we'll have to prepare a lot for dealing with that next week.
Gotcha. So moving, kind of talking a little bit, I guess, about the game 2, right? So you guys ended up lane swapping that, the Irelia mid versus the Kale. And you said you guys took some calls that maybe were a little bit too hard pressed on the tempo. So you had this Skarner pick that worked game number 1, game number 2. Or at least I thought it worked game number 2. What made you guys pick the Zac going into game 3?
Oh, so we actually played against this team 2 weeks ago, and I think we ran the Zac there in our game 2 weeks ago, and we were able to win during the regular season. So we felt that it was just a really good pick because it's actually kind of acts pretty similar to Skarner in a way, except for Skarner's looking for random like picks on one person, but Zac kind of looks for picks on like small skirmishes from like a whole screen away. So the two champs kind of like played relatively similarly, I feel, but since they left it up and they banned it the previous games, we kind of felt that they were a little bit scared of it. So it was also a little bit of psychological warfare there.
Gotcha. 1000, do you have any more questions?
Did you guys go into that last game with the idea of kind of playing around that bot side, or was that just kind of one of those things where it started working really well and you just pivoted to be like, okay, bot's winning, let's just hard slam bot lane nonstop and see how much we can get out of that?
Yeah, it was definitely actually, I wouldn't say it was necessarily too planned, but like we're decent at adapting in the middle of games. So once we realized that the bot lane was the win con, like after I think Zyra got like 2 or 3 really early free kills, we just realized that we'll never win a fight on the bot side. Oh, I'm sorry, we'll never lose a fight on the bot side. So we'll just play around it. And of course, we have a Jack split. And yeah, I also was told by my team a little bit to say 2 things. One, my top laner would like me to tell Microsoft that after the second game, we took it personally. I don't know what that means. And then my ADC also wanted me to say that today we shot some potatoes. I also do not know what that means, but
I mean, isn't his name Potato?
Yeah, but
Potato
I'm
shooter.
imagining there's some kind of backstory behind it that I don't know. It's maybe from a split or two ago.
Perhaps. That said, thank you for coming on today, and thank you for sharing with us the insights into those games. That said, that's all the time we have for today's broadcast of the Corporate Esports Association Round of 16. Microsoft Wubzy unfortunately gets sent home as editor. We run Vlads. We'll be up against Google working from home next week. That game probably won't be the one that's strange, but we'll see as we end up approaching next weekend, next Saturday, same time, same place on the Corporate Esports Association Twitch channel. So for everyone here at CEA, admins, game leads, production crew, our producer Brennan, my name is PhiNick.
My name is Thousand Eyes.
And we will see you next week, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.